weeks, and I've been letting shit get to me, and I've been getting back at people. And I'm curious. I'm gonna ask y'all. Y'all have any good petty revenge stories? Because I've got a really silly one.
No. Dalton, go ahead.
Okay. I have two. One is short and sweet, though, because most of you have heard it before on Steam Machine. And that was when I complained and I complained and I complained at Walgreens for people to please walk to the water fountain or the bathroom, pour your drink out, then throw it away instead of throwing away drinks, because that shit leaks everywhere when we're taking trash out at night. It's a big pain, yada, yada, yada. No one listened to me. So I took the sticky notes that we have that are like notepads, but the whole thing is sticky. And I wrote, please pour your drink out before you throw it away. Thank you. And I went and just slapped it on the wall around the store. Like one up behind the counter, one by the fucking main office, like one by the bathroom, put one in each bathroom on the back of the door. And that was the incident that got me in trouble, because as I'm putting it up in the front, Melanie, that bitch, comes over and goes, I don't think Trisha's going to like that very much. And I went, if Trisha doesn't like it, she can suck my motherfucking dick. And that guy told the Trisha that I said that. And yeah, we all know how that went after that. But it's like, I just remember her being like, when I took that off, it took paint with it. And my smart ass just went, good, that wall needs a new coat anyway. It'd be fine.
If you want to listen to the story, listen to the Apps Pod episode. Insert number here.
Yeah. Episode 1 of them. I don't know. The other one, actually, I got one more quick one. I'm coming out when I was working at Winn-Dixie. I'm coming out of the store. I guess it was Harvey's at the time. And there was this dude in a Firebird coming up, and he was driving real slow, but he was looking at his phone and not paying attention. He was driving slow enough that my big ass was like, yeah, I could do it. And I just stepped on his hood and walked across his car. And he tried to yell at me. And I was like, oh, it was either that or let you run me over. Which do you prefer? And he shut the fuck up and drove off. So the last one is my ex. This is the most petty thing I've done in a long time. Just throw that out there. My ex, I had lent some money. And then we split. And I had hit her up about the money a couple times. And she ghosted me. Blocked me on Facebook. Like, ghosted me. So I remembered that this one time she had called me, and this is after we had broken up. She called me super drunk while she was driving home because she wanted to talk to somebody while she was driving super drunk on the way home, and that she was out with her boss. And her boss and her were at the bar, and they had some drinks, and her boss went home with a man that wasn't her husband. And my ex is just telling me all this on the phone, and I'm like, all right, like, I don't want to know all of this. Okay, she sounds like a shitty person. I don't know what to say. Like, what do you want me to do? So anyway, she blocked me on Facebook. I'm thinking, like, I need this money for some stuff that was going on with my grandma at the time. And she won't contact me back. So I went on Google to the place that she worked, and I left a Google review that said, hey, insert name here, likes to call people while they're driving home drunk and tell them that the boss of the place she works, which is this business, likes to go home with men who aren't her husband while she's drunk. So, like, if you want to come here and shop and be, support adultery and driving under the influence, then by all means, come get your hair cut here. And then I proceeded to go on a couple other Google accounts that I had and comment like, adultery, ew, gross, and like shit like that. So, like, needless to say, I got unblocked. I got sent my fucking money. And I went and deleted those because that was what I told her. I said, she was like, I don't even want to know why you did it. That's fucked up, Dalton. You're immature. I said, am I? Because you're the one that owed me money and blocked me instead of just talking to me like an adult about it. Like setting up a payment plan or something. And she's like, I said, I'll delete them if you pay me back. She says, well, it's a little late for that now. About 5 minutes later, how much was it that I owed you? And I told her, bam, it hits my Cash App. I'm like, thank you. And I went and deleted all the comments. I got the man of my word. I said, if you pay me, I will delete them. So that is an instance of me being Tom Petty.
I do think that tops mine.
I'm sorry then. I didn't mean to step on your dick.
Oh, no, mine's still fun. So I know I've told the smaller of these two stories before. But doing DoorDash deliveries, you get a lot of people who expect you to do a lot of dumb shit for low pay, or they don't tip, or they don't tip nowhere near enough for what the fuck you're having to do. And my wife is like the little demon on my shoulder. So whenever she is riding around with me and I'm doing this shit, things escalate really, really quickly. And nothing like fucking with somebody's food. No, that's wrong. You don't do shit like that. But throwing away their straw and leaving them a set of chopsticks instead when all they ordered was a drink, that's a different scenario.
Yeah. Dude, that would be so confusing. Did I even order Chinese? What the fuck? What
What the hell?
And you'd have to take a picture whenever you're dropping it off at their door. So you take the picture, then you put the chopsticks on top of it, and you just pimp away. But just little shit like that. Like, oh, you ordered sushi, and you're tipping, $0. Guess who doesn't get soy sauce? Just the sort of thing that's just going to ruin their fucking day. Oh,
yeah, but well deserved if you don't tip. Like,
oh, you got chips with your Mexican food. It's going to be a shame that salsa didn't make it in the bag.
Oh, darn.
Or you oh no, I guess if they ordered chips, you got to give them that. No, but never mind.
Or you switch it to like a Carolina Reaper salsa or something like that.
Just low stakes social terrorism, right?
Drop a da bomb in there and stir it in.
There you go.
Well,
just a drop though. You don't want to hurt them.
Last week,
just a twist. If it's more than just a twist, I'll send it back.
Last week, I had this big ass grocery order, and with the grocery orders on DoorDash, I have to go in there and shop it my damn self. I'm in there getting all this shit, and just as soon as I get the last thing, I get a text message from the girl, and she's like, hey, we added more stuff to this order. Did you get it? I said, no. Never showed up on my screen, and I've already hit checkout. I can't go back. So I really need this stuff. I'm like, well, that's unfortunate because not even DoorDash support can undo it once I hit checkout. Sorry, you're kind of SOL here. She guilts him like, yeah, well, no. Because I'm not going to buy her shit with my money and then hope that she pays me back when I show up.
Oh, yeah, no.
I'm like, tell you what, I will finish this order. I will let you know as soon as I'm done paying for it and I've got the receipt. Then you can place your new one. Since I'm already here, there's a chance that they'll pop it up on my screen and I can pick it up before I start your way and I'll bring you both. So, finish it up. I'm like, all right, I'm done. She's like, okay, well, I hit submit. Okay. I gave it 2 minutes. Said, look, it's been 2 minutes. It's not going to give it to me. I'm starting your way. I start heading her way, and it is a long fucking drive out in the middle of fucking nowhere. 16 miles. I'm going halfway up the interstate out of town, and then I'm heading up a fucking dirt road, mountain road, around the fucking mountain, just back and forth, snaking through shit. And the whole time I'm getting angrier and angrier that someone this far out is ordering this much shit. Because with every passing mile, I'm realizing this is not worth the tip that they put on this. Unless there is hidden money, which does happen. It'll show you like one total when you drop it off and finalize it. It'll be like, surprise, motherfucker, you got an extra $2. The biggest jump I've ever seen was a catering order I thought was $13. I dropped it off and it was $60. So I'm thinking, there better be hidden money on this shit. I get up there, and it's this fucking set of cabins. Find the woman's cabin and bring her food. And she's like, thank you so much. And then she starts telling me her life story. And I almost felt bad for her because apparently they were up in these cabins on the top of it, the tip top of a fucking mountain. So beautiful view every direction. But getting there fucking sucks. She's like, we were invited here. We're here this weekend for my sister's wedding. And they said there was going to be like a big cookout for all the guests. And we got up here and like, we didn't bring any food. And they're like, surprised there's no cookout. You were lied to. We didn't do it. I'm like, oh, wow. So you're up here expecting the cookout and you didn't bring any food? No, nothing at all. I'm like, oh, wow. That does just suck. I'm sorry you're going through that. So I hand her the stuff, finalize the order, and not an extra dime on there. I'm like, and didn't have me any cash for the fucking trip, nothing. So on my way out, I see all these wedding this way signs, and I throw it in the park, and my wife's like, what are you doing? I said, hold on. I hop out and I just yeet those fucking signs off the side of the mountain.
Yeah, that's as soon as you mentioned signs, I was like, God, I hope he got out and at least stole them. Oh, but throwing them off the mountain's even better.
Got back in the car. We head down the long ass fucking dirt road, and we're heading out a different direction than we came in. So we go past the place that it connected to, hit the end of the dirt road. We finally make it back to asphalt. There's another wedding sign. Yeet! And then we get a mile down the road, and there's this big fucking resort thing next to the pavement, and I'm like, wait, we gotta go back. So yeah, the rest of those wedding guests were probably very confused because that woman acted like her and the ones in the cabin next to them were the first ones to get there. And I'm pretty sure, I hope this started some big fight of the bride thinking that her sister went and did all this shit because they didn't do a fucking cookout. Because, she's the younger sister and I'm getting married first and you're just trying to destroy me.
You're just trying to ruin my day.
So, yeah, I hope I just fucked up that entire way.
I feel like Dane just looked at his wife, got his sunglasses on, hands her a purple can of soda, and they drive off as the wedding explodes behind them.
Sipping punch pop.
No, the first thing that came to mind was, what is it? When something really smooth happens or very petty, all of a sudden, the screen freezes and turns black and white, and then the thug black sunglasses appear over the eyes, and then the cigarette puns. And that's just what Dane did. Just the thug sunglasses and
yeah, and it plays the Grand Theft Auto jingle from San Andreas.
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, the signs immediately at those cabins, there were 3 of them, just yeet, yeet, yeet.
This is random, but this was probably about a week and a half ago now. There was just a dude walking around my town carrying a life-size cross. And I don't know if he was on his way to a church, if he was on his way to a wedding. I don't know if he was on his way to yeet it off a cliff. I don't know what the hell he was doing, but there was just a dude walking around with a giant cross. And part of me wanted to stop and be petty and just be like, hey, man, you need me to help you put that up somewhere? What? I needed to find out why, but I didn't. And now I wish I'd have taken the cross and yeeted it off a hill just because it would have been funny. Boomerang it.
Fun fact, that the cross that everybody sees is historically inaccurate.
I would imagine so. I feel like they wouldn't have had such pristinely cut lumber back then, but I could be wrong.
It was a fucking piece of timber that went across the shoulders. Arms went around behind it and forward to be nailed. And then that
and everybody just
was hoisted up on either a post or a tree.
See, that makes more sense to me than the nails just straight through the hand to the side, because I feel like that would tear through. So going around it, not that it makes it any better, but going around it makes more sense as far as locking them to hang there. It's brutal either way.
Oh yeah, but yeah,
human beings are fucked up.
With the creative ways that we come up with for killing and torturing one another, or
yes, brother. Listen, if y'all ever come down to Florida to visit, I got to take y'all to St. Augustine, and we got to go to the torture museum. And you go in there and you walk around and you just look at all these different implements that people have used over the years. Like the iron bowl, what a fucked up just contraption. It's like, oh yeah, we made a bowl out of copper or iron or whatever it is. We put the person in there, we lock them in there, we set a fire underneath it, and they yell and scream, and because it reverberates in the metal, it sounds like a bull going roar. So that's why they fucking called it that. It's like, Jesus, dude.
There was this really fun one that I heard the Romans used to do where they would put you in a bag, tie it off, and throw it in a river. But you wouldn't be in the bag by yourself. They'd also have you in there with a monkey, a dog, and a snake.
One of these things is not like the other.
I don't know if that was something that George Carlin made up for a bit.
Like one of the things they have in there that's wild looking is this giant wheel that they would strap to people and then roll them down the hill. And but the people were attached to the part that rolls, so they would just get crushed as they went down the side of whatever. And it's who came up with that? Oh my goodness, dude! The weight of it. They have a legit guillotine in there that you can like pull on to get the weight of it, and like no wonder that executioners and stuff are always super buff. That is some heavy shit, man. They have an executioner's axe in there, and it's like Diana couldn't even pick it up. It was so heavy.
Well, you want to make sure that if nothing else, because I see a lot of people completely misuse like sledgehammers, because the whole point is you want the weight of the hammer to do the work for you. So you just kind of swing it back and forth and then let it carry itself across. The same way that a fucking axe is going to work.
Yeah, and especially if you're doing that, you want it to be a quick clean, not click queen. The click queen, a quick clean cut, just done, over with, dead.
Now, I have heard that the guillotine was actually secretly the most painful way to kill somebody.
Now, is that because the brain's still firing for a few seconds?
Yeah, and the way that they proved that this was a possibility, they got the dude's permission, like one of the last guys who was executed via guillotine. They wanted to see how long they could get responses from him after the head came off. And I forget the amount of time, but it was measured in minutes that they were able to like get the eyes still to flutter.
For science!
And at one point, early on, like they, snuck a pinky in the back door of the head up the spinal column. And when they did that, they said that a expression of the most anguishing pain that you can imagine crossed his face whenever they diddled his spinal cord. So they think that whenever you were beheaded like that, it's like your entire body is on fire.
That's brutal. and that guy became the first head in a jar on Futurama.
Excuse me, sir. Before we perform this experiment, I need you to sign this waiver for me.
Now, me and my friends back when we were in high school, we used to try and come up with very creative, slightly humorous threats to make with one another. My go-to was I would pelt somebody with small farm animals, which if you've ever had someone throw a chicken at you, that is a real threat.
I played Zelda.
But my buddy, Big Dick Brandon, came up with the one that made the most people cringe. And I never realized that probably the most dangerous torture device is available at pretty much every bar you walk into that does mixed drinks. Because he would threaten to take a swizzle stick, dip it in salt, and thread your urethra. I love how you both made the exact same face.
Yeah, that's a pain I don't feel like thinking about right now, dog. I don't, listen, to each their own, but anytime I've seen a video that includes the word sounding, I'm like, nope, not for me.
Oh, don't worry. Karma came back around on him because he has had so many fucking kidney stones. He actually had one that blocked off the path from one kidney to his bladder for like 4 months. So he was running off the function of one kidney. So they had to bust that one up. And then he had another one that like blocked every damn thing off, and they had to roll him in for emergency procedure. And they went in with a metal tube that had grabbies on the end, ran that up there, just yanked that out, and had to go back in and put in a stent.
Oh.
He pissed blood for a month.
Why did they wait 4 months?
Well, they think that one pathway was blocked for 4 months because he had been having symptoms for that long, and that they give him something. They're like, this should take care of it. Piss to a strainer. Let us know if you find anything. And he was still active duty in the Marine Corps at the time, and doing MMA. And right around this time, he got punched in the face, and where he had broken his nose so many times, it collapsed one of his nasal cavities. So they had to take him in and do rhinoplasty. So he finally got his nose fixed because the septum on his nose was a fucking zigzag where he had broken his nose so many times when we were young and dumb, and he was always doing the dumb shit that I usually put him up to. So with all that going on, he kind of forgot about piss rocks. And when he finally got the follow up, they're like, "So wait, you still haven't? All right, we need to like do something."
I remember my grandpa having to go in and get some of his kidney stones broken up, and just hearing him talk about that is why every time I drink a soda, I will drink 1 to 2 water bottles just to even it out. It's like the sugar or anything. And I stick to diet sodas. I'm like, just no, I don't want kidney stones. I've heard Jeff talk about it. I've heard other people talk about it. I don't want to experience a searing pain while I take a piss. That's just not what I'm looking for. So.
Oh, they fucking suck. I've only had like 2 or 3.
They do. Same. They are painful.
The weird thing with me was it hurt worse going from the kidney to the bladder. Apparently, I've just got a really big gaping pee hole, and it just went straight on through. I didn't have any issues there.
Same. Same. At the moment it came out, it's just like a little, oh, it's out. But going along the tube inside you, whatever the hell that tube is called. It's,
ureters?
Sure. That was the excruciating pain.
No, thank you.
Well, speaking of blood coming out of your dick, welcome to Dane and Jeff's Media Dump. I'm your host, Mr.
I don't
Eldane.
know if that...
What?
Did that happen in this movie? We didn't see it, so we can't confirm.
Well, they were bleeding from everything else.
I was gonna say that one dude had blood coming out of every orifice, and I'm gonna assume it was every orifice. So like he probably had a bloody butthole.
Well, I'm pretty sure someone was getting a pop in the
bloody
beehole.
butthole doesn't mean bloody dick. We can't assume.
I don't know. You stir up in them guts long enough.
Granted, it was also probably really cold in space, so he's probably dealing with some shrinkage as well. But how would that happen? You're cold, there's shrinkage, but all of the blood is rushing not to it but out of it. So like, are you gonna get a weird small space cold boner? Like, how's that gonna work? You can't be like, I was in the pool.
Hey, torturous death. Cut the dick and then force them to watch like hottest porn that they've ever seen with their eyes wide open like Clockwork Orange style.
Oh man, those things. Having your eye open for that long sucks, but like just the way that those claws were on his eye, that part used to freak me the fuck out. I'm like, I don't want anything that sharp near my eyes. No, thank you. Not even in a movie set.
But
I like I just derailed your intro.
What's that?
And again.
Oh, derailing me. That's fine. But I'm the host, Mr. Eldane Puzzles Esquire, Mr. Puzzles for short, Dane for shorter, and with me today, he slices, he dices, he's wearing a gray t-shirt, Mr. Grumpy Jeff. Jeff, how you doing?
Where we're going, we don't need eyes.
And with us once more, we've got the hat trick down. I'm pretty sure that he's achieved permanent guest host status at this point. The man with the plan.
Whoop!
He's getting the next pick. The steam machine himself, Dalton. Dalton, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Dan, I have a question for you.
What's that?
Would you like something hot and black inside you?
I've already got some coffee.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Dayton's like, well, if we add a little booze to the mix, you never know what'll happen.
Coffee's getting a little bit cold now.
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. It's been an interesting week, but it's been good.
Good to hear. Hold on. Doing a refill.
I like how that almost hit your hand. Like there was a split second where I thought it was going to go over, and then it went down. I was like, perfect.
He almost missed his hand and destroyed the entire soundboard.
Oh no, that's over there, so I don't fuck it up.
Okay, then it almost destroyed your laptop.
I'm going to crack this if we're starting, and this is a...
Oh, get it up next to the microphone. Get the Foley.
Oh, I already opened it. My bad. This is a Dr. Brown's original cream soda since 1869. I had never had this before, so...
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of cream soda. It's fine, but I'm not...
I've always had a love for it. I think it was like when I was a kid, my dad was telling me how much he really loved cream soda, and then he got us a couple of ice cold IBC cream sodas in the glass bottle, and it was like a bonding moment.
I always used to drink the IBC root beers, and those were great.
Dude, IBC is good shit, dude. International Bottling Co. They're good stuff.
I know this is something strictly for, I think it's mostly Chicago. I think you could get it anywhere, but I think it's, to ship it, it's expensive. That's Green River.
I think I've heard you mention that before, but I've never seen it.
I've mentioned it before. It's literally like a lime green soda, or lime jello soda.
Ooh. Yeah, I bet that would be tasty.
It is tasty, especially if you add ice cream to it.
I really there's a it's a microbrewery, but they do soda
Mm.
that they sell here. It's called Virgil's, and I think it's a national thing. Like you might be able to find it in your stores.
They carry Virgil's here.
It comes in a 4-pack. It's a little expensive for a 4-pack.
I think I've had Virgil's. It was pretty good.
But damn if it's not tasty. And they got a black cherry soda that is, oh, it's so good. If you like black cherry.
What's that German-sounding brand that begins with an S? Is it like Sprecher's or something like that?
Oh, yeah. Sprecher. Dude, they have those at Ace
black
Hardware.
cherry soda. Man, that is
So
delicious.
I can't find that anywhere here but Ace Hardware. They sell glass bottles of it in Ace Hardware. And every time I'm in there, I grab a Sprecher. I just grab a cherry cola or a black cherry. Whichever ones they have, I just grab one. I'm like, I know this is going to be tasty. So
I have never noticed those before. I'm going to have to go hunting for them now. We got a couple of
They're-
places that carry like the strange, fancy things.
it's like I love walking into the places that have the aisle of beer, but it's just like shit you've never heard of. It's like all import stuff. I just love looking at the names. That's where I first saw Vikings Blood and what was it? Angry Bastard. I think is what it's called. Angry Bastard.
No, we've got a
I know there's Arrogant Bastard.
That's what I meant. Arrogant Bastard. Yeah.
we got a couple of local breweries around here that do really good stuff that I don't know how far they reach out. I think my favorite one comes out of Greensboro, Gaelic Ale. They've got a couple of different varieties, but that one, oh, wow, it's fucking awesome.
Kind of like an Irish ale of sorts.
Yeah, it's a little bit on the darker side. It's nowhere near like Guinness dark, but it's smooth. It's not so bitter that it makes you like pucker up or anything. A lot of flavor to it.
Yeah, the brewery in Gainesville's got one that I really enjoy. And oh god, what's it called? Midnight Oil is what it's called, from Swamphead Brewing Company, and it's a oatmeal coffee stout. So like it's a really thick, dark beer, but it's got like hints of coffee in it, and it's really, really tasty.
I don't drink beer. Adding coffee to the mix, I definitely won't drink it.
It's definitely not up Jeff's alley.
Is it you don't like
I was trying
coffee,
to
or
think-
the
I was
idea of
trying to
coffee
think
with
of-
beer?
I just don't like coffee. And I don't like... I'll drink beer, but I don't like go out of my way to like... I'm craving a beer. Now, if I go to a barbecue, it's like, here, have a beer. Like, hey, thanks a lot. But I'm not going to go to a liquor store and be like, man, I'd like to purchase some of your finest beer, please.
I'm almost the same way. Like I don't drink often, but like I'll pour myself a whiskey when I'm sitting here with you boys sometimes, or like I'll have a beer if someone offers me a beer while I'm at a cookout or something. But I'm not like, I feel like going to the bar. I have never once had that thought ever. I have never once been like, I'm going to the bar.
Oh, I prefer to drink alone.
It's just, dude, I don't want to drink around strangers.
Yeah, with nobody else. Old George.
I was about to say, that sounds like some Thorogood. Yeah.
You have no idea how happy I was to say that line from Shazam. I don't care for superheroes, but that is a wonderful movie.
I have not seen it.
You should. It is fun.
Shemazel.
Austin Fifth Incorporated. I watch Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah. I walk out in the living room sometimes and it's on Me TV when my dad's got the TV on that out there, and I just laugh.
Oh. So what you fellas been up to? We'll go counterclockwise. Jeff, what you been up to this past week or two?
Not a whole lot. Saw the folks this past weekend. It was my mom's birthday, so I did that. Spent a few hours with her. Played a lot of No Man's Sky. Ever since they did that Voyager patch, I've been just doing little tinkers here and there.
They didn't
trying
call
to
it
perfect
Voyager?
No.
It has been insane to see what some people have built with that in the game. Just nuts, dude.
Some people are making semis. Some people are like the Millennium Falcon, Enterprise.
I've seen a literal pirate ship.
Yep.
Look, whenever I can
And
pilot the Pork Chop Express in No Man's Sky.
I mean, if you build it, they will come. You could probably find, like, how do I build a semi and then make it look like the Pork Chop Express?
I guarantee some people have made mods. It's like, hey, look, the Pork Chop Express decal.
Give it 24 hours. Jeff is going to find the fucking Pork Chop Express. And I'm going to have to buy a fucking No Man's Sky.
I was about to say, that was one of my favorite moments in the Discord, was you saying, I will play American Truck Simulator if I can use the Pork Chop Express. And 5 minutes later, Kana comes with a mod. Boom, here you go. And you were like, God damn it, Kana.
And we still haven't done a convoy yet.
Oh,
I do have
it's a
it
good-ass
installed.
game.
Good man.
It's just relaxing.
I drive all damn day for a living. It's hard for me to get excited for it.
That's fair. Well, at least, you can drive and see, like, states and stuff that you haven't been to.
It's true. Half the country.
Now, the furthest away that I've ever had to drive, we went to Missouri one time for a church trip. It was a 2-day drive. And when we got out there where everything's flat and straight, pretty sure there's a joke in that, but I'm getting a little drunk. My mom's sitting in the back seat, and I'm just boogieing along driving. And she leans up, she looks at my speedometer, she goes, "Son, I believe you're going over 100 miles an hour right now." I said, "Mom, I believe I'm just following traffic."
Yeah, that's pretty much it. The further west you go, like my parents were doing a road trip, and I believe they were in Wyoming, and they were just driving along. My dad had set the cruise for like 85, and cars were still just going like, it's just like, yep, makes sense.
Happens here in Florida too. As far as the flatness goes, heading to St. Petersburg down in South Florida, when you got to drive through the Everglades, you ain't seeing shit but just marshland on both sides for long periods of time. And there'll be like a gas station and a dollar store every now and then, and that's about it. And then as far as people going fast, son, I remember going to Taste of Chaos in Tampa fucking 15, 20 years ago now. It was a long ass time. But we were going to Taste of Chaos, and we were in my buddy Brendan's Firebird. And Brendan was doing like a $110 down the highway. And all of a sudden I hear, and this fucking motorcycle just goes, and in like 4 seconds he's gone. I'm like, that dude is doing like a $180. Holy shit. Homeboy's just weaving in and out of cars. I'm like, that's one of those dudes that if a cop saw him go by, that cop would just go back to doing whatever the fuck he was doing. Nope, not even gonna.
You later look at the news and you realize, oh, that guy got splattered by a semi.
Yeah, exactly. It's always like the people who are weaving in at I'm always like, dude, Godspeed, but fucking please be careful. I don't feel like driving by a body.
I see something like that. I just like, he dead.
Oh, he dead. He been dead a long time.
He's on borrowed time.
Now, have y'all ever actually seen somebody like in front of you in person wipe out on a fucking motorcycle because they were driving stupid?
No.
I have once, and it was before I had a fucking dash cam, so I didn't actually catch it. My daughter was a year old and asleep in the back seat. I'm sitting in a fucking red light waiting for it to turn, and as the lights in front of us are changing before ours turns green, this fucking motorcycle comes peeling through. He is fucking flying. It's 45 through there. He is going easily double. And apparently he realized, oh, wait, this light's turning red, and tried to stop. So as he was braking, his rear end comes up, so he's doing a reverse wheelie.
Oh, stoppy. That's what that's called.
All right. Into the intersection. And the wheel stops, bike keeps moving, flips over, he goes tumbling. Fucking ragdolls. And I'm sitting there weighing my options of, I want to get out and help this dude, but my daughter's in the backseat asleep, and I don't want to walk away from her, and I can't turn the engine off because it's middle of fucking summer. Luckily, while I had my moment of indecision, somebody from the side of the road runs over and helps him up, and he shuffles him off, hops up, walks over, picks his bike up, hops on it, starts off again, and then goes off the side of the road into the ditch and passes out. So, I don't know.
He had a helmet on at least, I hope.
He had a helmet, but that's the only damn protection he had. He had fucking road rash hell.
That's why I never, ever talk shit when I see a biker who's wearing like a leather jacket in the summer, or they've got on one of those long sleeve protective things. I'm like, I don't understand why people call those guys pussies. It's like, oh, they want to be safe. Why the fuck is that a bad thing?
You ever tried to
Some
pick a
people are just
T-shirt
weird.
out of your skin when it's embedded in there?
I would rather not. I would really rather not.
Now, here's the trick with a motorcycle. Statistically, you're most likely to wreck the first 6 months that you're riding a motorcycle, or after you've been riding for 2 years because you've got too comfortable with it. So if you can make it through that first 6 months, when you hit the 2-year mark, you stop riding.
Makes sense to me. My dad used to drive a motorcycle, and he stopped because he was going over a bridge in Jacksonville, and he said he didn't know if this guy was just having a bad day, or he didn't like dudes on motorcycles, or if he had accidentally cut him off and didn't realize it or something. But he said that there was a dude in a car that tried to run him off the bridge on his
Damn.
motorcycle, and he said he sold his motorcycle after that happened.
Now we have a
I was like, yeah, I can't fucking blame you.
local MC. I think the Guardian Angels is what they call themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They hang out at the Backer Church that we got here. Their whole thing is they escort women and children
Yeah, I've heard of them.
for fucking who are like from abusive situations, like to and from places in the court and shit.
And won't they like stand so they don't have to see the person beforehand and stuff? Like, I think I've heard stories like that where they kind of guard them from.
I think I've heard stories. I think I've seen videos of this.
But I found out about them because I got passed by them one day on a 2-lane, and it was one of those cases of, wait, did that fucking backer just have a gigantic stuffed teddy bear riding bitch? And then another one.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say, if I saw a biker with a teddy bear, I'm immediately gonna be like, you just don't fuck with that guy. If he is badass enough to be riding his motorcycle with a teddy bear, bitch, he's gonna beat your ass and not think twice about it.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, it's like that guy is manly man.
But I'm driving. My mom's riding with me, and my daughter's in the back seat. And I'm like, did that biker just have a fucking teddy bear riding bitch? And then right after that, another one on a motor track came through with a kid sitting in the back. And my mom informed me, I was like, yeah, that's the Guardian Angels. And she told me what they were doing. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, is that new? She's like, no, they've been here for years. How am I just now finding out that this is a thing? Well, I've got you back. I'm done derailing you. What else you been up to, Jeff?
Nothing, just working, normal stuff. Dalton, how about you?
Well, I just been playing some games. One I told you about before we started, Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon. Gives me like a Skyrim / I say Skyrim because it plays like Skyrim, but it's more like Morrowind where it doesn't hold your hand very much. But has a lot of the same kind of lore and stuff in it that I found in The Witcher, which interested me. I beat Slay the Princess last night, but we'll talk about that on a upcoming Steam Machine podcast with you boys.
Which I still need to play and download.
You need me to resend you the
for
link?
what it's worth, it's not very long.
What?
Need me to resend you the link?
I probably, because I don't want to go digging for it.
Technically, you can roll credits in less than 20 minutes.
Hell
That's
yeah.
true. That's true. I can.
But that requires me to sit in this chair, and my chair is uncomfortable.
I think I still have a version of it that I can zip and send to you if you want. Well, we can hash that out later, though. What else? I got this new chair, which we talked about earlier. It's freaking sweet, nice and comfy. My mom had surgery today. Everything went fine. She's home now, resting in bed. And I had a job interview this last Thursday that went really well at a cannabis dispensary. So I was supposed to hear from her either today or tomorrow. So fingers crossed that I end up hearing from her. We shall see.
Well, dude, I've had my fingers crossed for you. I'm still wishing you luck, but it's definitely a job you don't have to worry about a piss test with.
Yeah. I think they do drug test you, but I don't think they're looking for bud. I think they just want to make sure they're not hiring.
It'd be funny. It's like, all right, time for you to take a piss test. It's like, sir, I'm sorry, you're way too sober.
You don't have enough weed in your system to work here.
It's like, shit.
I just know like some of the things that I've experienced with it. Like I don't take nearly as much ibuprofen and stuff now as I used to. The lotions, like the topical lotions to rub on while you got a sore muscle or something, really does loosen up the muscle and help. So that's been good too. And I'd like to be able to like help recommend that kind of stuff to people. If somebody comes in and their back hurts, I can be like, yo, I deal with a lot of back pain. Here's things that help me, and it's just I feel like that will be rewarding in a way. So, I mean, yeah, it's cool to like, oh yeah, I work in a dispensary, but like, there's also aspects to it where like I feel like I'm genuinely can help some people, and that just makes me feel good. So, hoping to hear from that this week, because
How far
we
away
did have
is it from your house?
30 minutes.
That's not terrible.
So it's not too bad of a drive, and it's pretty much a straight shot. Like I leave my house, take a left, take another left, and I drive straight, and then I take one more left, and I'm there. It's a long straight run.
So this is a very long NASCAR track.
Pretty much, yeah. It's just a lot of just flat road with a couple
left
of curves.
Left turn. Got to make another left turn.
Two wrongs
Another
don't make a
left
right,
turn.
but 3 lefts do.
Yeah, that's pretty much it with me. Did a pulled pork, smoked pork butt last night, and ate some of it tonight, and it was really tasty. I love eating some butt.
Right now, all I can think about is Tyler being drunk off his ass on the Pokemon Snap episode of Tadpog. Shout out for Tadpog yelling, "Eat ass."
Eat ass.
Was that Pokemon Snap? I thought it was a Zelda episode.
It was Pokemon Snap.
It was? Okay.
Is that the episode where he just disappears? Because he was just wasted and ended up like just leaving, going inside and laying down.
No, I don't think he disappeared on that one.
I thought for sure in the Zelda episode, I don't remember who's with him. It was like an old buddy of his. And it's like, do you eat ass?
I've got a document that I made back when I was doing Tadpog trivia, and I know it has the answer, but I'm almost certain it was Pokemon Snap. Hold on.
I mean, I'm certain. Well, I know the Pokemon Snap. He was very drunk, but I thought for sure in the Zelda episode that he was also like, "Do you eat ass?"
While you're looking that up, I was watching Good Mythical Morning the other day, and Good Mythical Morning keeps their stuff these days pretty much PG-13. Like they don't curse a whole lot, but they'll make innuendos and stuff. And they were talking about fried shrimp, and Jordan, one of their crew members, was they were testing out his favorite meals and stuff, and one of them was coconut fried shrimp. And he said that Rhett goes, "Do you eat the tail too? Because some people eat the entire thing, or do you just bite it off?" He goes, "No, I don't eat the tail when it comes to shrimp, but I do when it comes to lovemaking." And Link just looks at Rhett and goes, "You walked right into that one."
All right, I double checked it. I had looked it up for Drew whenever Tadpog did their listener submitted draft. He couldn't remember which episode it was, but Super Drunk Tyler, quote unquote, I ate ass. I looked it up for him, and it was episode 206, Pokemon Snap. So,
speaking of Bubba Drewski, I feel like he's the one Game Buds person that never ended up in the Steam Machine Discord for one reason or another. But I love Drew. I hope he's doing good, man. That's my buddy.
He appears sometimes on Tadpog, so we know he's alive.
Yeah, usually with some inappropriate picture on Picture Spam.
That is the Bubba Drewski way.
Say there was many a time where I would make a joke that was either dark or in somewhat bad taste, and there would be one lone laugh, and it would be Drew. Willie and Nate, I can just feel them shaking their head at me. Drew's over there.
It's good to know I'm not the only one that felt that way.
Yes.
Because poor taste jokes are my bread and butter.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I managed to get you one time to be like, no.
Yeah, and that's pretty rough. That's pretty tough to do. So that's impressive, sir.
Oddly enough, I think it was Riff Tracks, and I made an English joke.
God, Riff Tracks. Yeah, I remember I made a fucking AIDS joke on Riff Tracks that got no laughs. Like none. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe that one was a bit dark.
I see you all have AIDS.
No, I think it was, man, that guy looks like he flags paws on Grindr. Like, no one fucking laughed, and I was like, oh man, maybe I was a bit too dark.
Oh, damn.
Dane.
Yo.
How have you been?
I'm feeling pretty good right now. I don't know how much whiskey I've downed at this point.
Judging by what went into the coffee and the coffee's now gone, I'd say a decent amount.
Yeah, because I didn't refill it after I finished the coffee. I'm looking at my video feed. I'm turning red, so yeah, I'm a little lit. So, what have I done the last couple weeks? I was there day one for Silk Song's supposed release.
Yeah.
And apparently I was one of the chosen few who managed to get it, like, within 30 minutes of it dropping. I know, Dalton, you bought it. Did you even bother to try at all that morning whenever they crashed Steam and everything else?
So here's the thing, because my sleep schedule at that time was kind of fucked up. Ooh, I'm making a lot of mic noise, sorry. My sleep schedule at that time was kind of fucked up, so when I went to sleep, it wasn't available yet, but it was that morning, but it was coming out in like a couple hours. So I just went to bed, and when I woke up, I bought it with no problem. But I would like to give a shout out quickly, because I know what you're about to bring up. I want to give a shout out to GOG, Good Old Games. They are the only place that did not crash from people buying Silk Song.
Because I think everyone forgets about GOG.
And that's a shame, because they're DRM free. So when you buy a game from them, you own it.
Yeah.
They give you an offline installer that you can load up. You could literally take those files and burn them to a disk and have a physical boot disk for a game.
Well, you can do the
It's
same
fucking
thing for
cool.
Steam, but you still have to have Steam for it to run. So you can still make an offline installer for Steam games.
Oh, okay, I get you. Well, this is like you don't need GOG. It's like once you have it, you just have
Yeah.
the game. And they say, please don't share it with people. That's all they ask, even though...
FreeGOGPCGames.com.
Yeah.
But, so I was waiting because I thought, you know what? If I hit it the moment it drops, I might be able to get it before all of the shit starts throttling from the inevitable flood of traffic. Silly me, everybody else was thinking the exact goddamn thing. So I was standing there refreshing, 9:59, nope, 9:59, nope, 9:59, nope. 10 o'clock, reload, waiting and waiting. And then the little Steam error message dude pops up. I'm like, fuck. Here's how far I made it. So I reloaded and reloaded and reloaded until it finally popped up the button to put it in the cart. Put it in my cart. Error dude. Shit. So then it was reload, 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 reload. 5 minutes to be able to put it in the cart. Another 10 minutes to be able to open my cart. Another 10 minutes after that to be able to get to have the checkout button. And every time I clicked the checkout button, it would be like invalid, something, something, this, that, and the other, and it would show the little error dude. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Now, at this point, had they changed the error dude to the Silk Song character? Because didn't that happen at one point?
If they did that, it happened after.
Okay.
But by the time it hit 10:30 and I still had not managed to buy Silk Song, I said, fuck you, Steam, and I went to GOG. So I opened it up. I was able to load it in my cart first try, and I only had to click proceed to checkout and pay with PayPal twice. So even though they were getting slammed too, they were scaling a hell of a lot better than Steam was. So 2 tries at 10:30 and I had it through GOG. And, because Team Cherry are fucking chads, I had a native Linux install. And
That's awesome. And the fact that they had this game that was so hyped. Like, people have been waiting this game for so long, and they drop it at $20. I was not shocked that it crashed the internet, because that's like everyone can afford $20. You know what I mean? You can go mow a lawn and make that much money.
Which I do have some things to say about the controversy over all that. So have you heard about how there's a bunch of indie gamers bitching about the Silk Song release?
No, I've only heard people complain that it's too hard.
I've had a few conversations with people about this.
So there are a bunch of indie devs who are very upset that Team Cherry did a 2-week announcement period. So like people had a 2-week, like, hey, it's dropping on this date. And then 2 or 3 days ahead of time was when they finally announced it's going to launch at $20. And so many indie devs are pissed because they're only charging $20 and they only give them 2 weeks notice, because there are a bunch of people who postponed their release schedule by like a month, 2 months until next year. And they're all yelling at Team Cherry about how they should be more considerate of other indie devs, about how they have a responsibility because great power and all this other shit. So here's my take on it. They don't owe you a goddamn thing.
Fuck yeah.
Go piss rocks out your pee hole.
You grab a swizzle stick, coat it in salt, and you just ram that fucker all the way home because go fuck yourself, alright? The reason, Dane opinion, the reason I think that they did, hey, it's coming out in 2 weeks, there had been so many false flags of Silk Songs coming out this time. They came out earlier this year and they said 2025 release. Now, Dalton, you've seen a bunch of PC release announcements. When you see something that says it's coming out X year, what month do you think it's going to come out?
Usually towards the end of the year, beginning into summer, beginning of fall, September. Typically, September, July, August, like that area.
If all they say is a year, you're expecting Q4, probably December, because they're saying, hey, it's coming out this year. We promise, but just barely.
There are a lot of those too. Yes,
for
sure. It's like, oh yeah, our game's coming out December 31st.
So anyone who saw it's coming out 2025 and thought, oh, it's probably going to come out in April, you're fucking stupid. I was surprised that it came out as early as September. But the fact that they have had so many blow-ups where they announce something too soon, the fact that they gave a 2-week heads up, one, they definitely capitalized on that fucking hype. Because 2 weeks is just enough time for everybody to fucking hear about it, and we're all here day one, before everyone starts to forget about it. But also, hey, it's coming out in 2 weeks. You don't have enough time for everybody to be like, you know what, no, they haven't come out yet. I think they're full of shit. It's not actually going to happen. Which, yeah, I will admit, I was the big pessimist on the Discord. And I still don't...
Dane was like, it'll be in my library and I won't even believe it's out.
I'm still not entirely convinced that the game is out. When I've rolled credits, you know what, then I'll finally be 99% sure.
You've been playing the first Hollow Knight DLC this entire time.
Well, that's the thing. It was supposed to be a Hollow Knight DLC.
No, but then, but like this will be like a MCU. It's like there'll be a post credits, and then it'll say Silk Song 2027. It's like, wait, what?
God damn it!
They shadow dropped the epilogue. The sons of bitches, or prologue. I'm drunk. But I've been playing a lot of that, supposedly, because again, haven't rolled credits, so I'm not entirely convinced I'm playing it. But fuck. One, this game is fucking hard. And not because, it's a hard game, but because I have so much muscle memory attached to the Knight's moveset, where I've played so much of Hollow Knight. I think the only other person on Discord who's played as much Hollow Knight as me is Nate. And Nate did manage to 100% it and get all the achievements. I missed the speedrun achievement by 20 minutes and it pissed me off a couple years ago and I never finished that one. That's the only one I didn't get. But
I'd have been annoyed by that.
Oh, man. I even got the fucking Still Soul achievement where you have to go through with permadeath and roll credits. That was a fucking pain in the dick.
Oh, I bet. Fuck that.
But Nate even tried to hype me up. He's like, dude, if you were able to beat it on Still Soul, there's no way you can't get the under 2 hours achievement. I said, the last time I didn't look, I did a straight run the whole time and didn't even stop to save. I just bam, 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 and was pushing through and I missed it by 20 minutes. And that pissed me off so much I didn't want to look at it for 2 years.
Before you continue, I have to tell you the story I heard. It's about No Man's Sky. You know, the whole thing they just released with the Voyager. Someone that was doing a permadeath playthrough, they put 300 hours into it. It's a long time. And apparently this person tried flying into a station. It glitched out and killed him. Like when the patch first released, if you tried going into a pirate controlled station, it starts to damage you. You can't enter it in your Corvette. So I think that's what happened. He flew into one of the stations. The game started glitching out. His health lowered, and his ship was destroyed, and he died, or the person died. So it's just like, well, that's a horrible way to lose in permadeath.
Press F to pay respect. Oh, damn.
I don't fuck with permadeath, man. I don't like permadeath for that reason.
I like games that are built around permadeath, but when permadeath is like an optional thing that you can jump into, usually I don't like it.
It's one thing you have to deal with in the older Fire Emblem games is that the permadeath was not toggleable, so all of your party members, if they died in battle, they were dead.
Mm-hmm.
And being designed like that from the get-go, and that's the norm, I'd have been fine with it. But like Terraria has a permadeath mode. Don't fuck with it.
Can't say I blame you. Like I said, it's not my style of game at all. I mean, I'll play them, like you said, if that's the main mechanic. But, like, I'm not going to load up Skyrim and turn on, like, survival and permadeath or something like that. Like, nah.
Which I did use, talking about Skyrim. I heard about a dude who did a Skyrim Iron Man challenge where if he died, he had to treat it like permadeath, and he couldn't buy anything from shops. And he said that forced him to engage with mechanics and systems in the game that even though he had like hundreds and hundreds of hours in Skyrim, he had never fucked with before. So like the only way to have potions, he had to do alchemy. He wanted an enchanted weapon, he had to fucking enchant it himself.
Yeah.
And he said that just totally shifted the game for him and brought life into a game that he thought that he couldn't enjoy anymore. So there is a place for it.
That's pretty sweet.
But you also have to like Skyrim, and you know what? I never managed to click with it, so.
That's fair.
Survival mode in Fallout 4 is fun as hell. Hard at times,
Yeah, those
but
fucking
fun.
rads.
I'm not even talking about the rads. I tried doing the Kate special mission where you have to go to Vault 95. So you're in survival mode, and the first thing you see are 7 gunners and 2 assaultrons.
Oh, that place. Dude, yeah. That and the beginning of Nuka World.
Yeah.
Where they just drop you in and there's just fucking like 6 turrets aimed at you and they just light you up and you're dead. And you're like, oh, what the fuck?
That mission took me like 3 hours because I had to do this as stealthily and covertly as possible. And every chance I get, it's just like sleeping bag, mattress, sleep, because that's the only way you can save.
Yeah.
You can't just do a menu save. It only saves when you sleep.
The furthest I've made it in a Bethesda Fallout was playing Fallout 4 VR.
I have that on Steam. I've just never checked it out.
I do not like Bethesda's open world games. I think I put the most time in Morrowind of any of their shit. Even though I did all of the different quest lines that you can do in Skyrim, I put the most time in Morrowind. It just, the way they do open worlds, even though like environmental storytelling with those games is amazing, it just does not engage me properly.
Maybe you would like Starfield.
Oh, fuck that.
I will give Starfield this. The gunplay in it's pretty fun. But that's like what it's got over No Man's Sky, and that's about it at this point. Like No Man's Sky does everything else that Starfield does.
There is a community-driven project where they're doing their best to cobble together what would have been Fallout 3 if it had stuck with the original devs.
Mm.
Yeah, you can find that on My Abandonware. It's Fallout Project something.
Van
or other,
Buren
right?
was what the code word.
Van Buren, yeah.
There is a group of people who are trying to put that together, and I would love to try that, even though I know they use some of the ideas in New Vegas. I really love the original Fallout. And even though I didn't finish it, I had fun with Fallout 2.
See, I own both of those and have never played them, and I've been waiting for like them to come up for the show because those are some of the classics that I'd like to get around to eventually. That me and Willie always talk about doing, like older stuff that's like genre defining. I think Fallout's one of those.
See, Fallout 1's awesome because you can actually beat the final boss with a speech check.
That's cool. You can go passive route. That's cool.
It is entirely possible. It is not easy, but you can do it. They don't put that kind of effort in the games anymore to make that as an option. At least it doesn't feel like it.
At least not nearly as often.
But to be able to go against, the BBEG, the big bad evil guy at the end of it and talk your way the fuck out of it, that is the most tabletop shit that you can do.
Oh yeah, so many situations in tabletop games that I've gotten out of with a good fucking charisma roll.
But wrap up my intro shit so that we can actually get to the actual meat of the shit. The only other thing that I've been doing this past couple of weeks, me and my wife have been watching through Umbrella Academy. Have either of y'all watched that?
No, but I'm gonna guess it's Resident Evil related.
Not even remotely.
Really? Oh well, wrong umbrella then.
It's based on a set of limited run comics done by Gerard Way. If you don't know who that is the lead singer from My Chemical Romance. He did a comic book series about a family of superheroes. The most dysfunctional fucking family of superheroes you can imagine. The elevator pitch of it is, like 30 some years ago, 47 women all gave birth at the exact same time. And the reason that is weird is because none of them were pregnant that morning. And an eccentric billionaire went around and managed to buy 7 of them. And he raised them to be a crime-fighting team because all 7, well, except for one, had superpowers. One was really strong, one could communicate with ghosts, one could mind control people with a phrase, but it had to be like, I heard a rumor that whatever she said you would then do or whatever. One could eject Cthulhu-esque tentacles out of his chest. Another one could teleport. And the last one could telekinetically control knives that he threw so that he always hit a bullseye. And then you had Vanya. So imagine being, the powerless one in a family of superheroes. That's what they were as kids. As adults, they've all scattered to the wind, and the super strong one is the only one who's still actually invested. But the show opens up with their dad is dead. The whole family finally comes together. The one who could teleport could also time travel and ended up getting himself stranded in the future post-apocalypse. So the end of the first episode is him coming back in time to now because the apocalypse is in 10 days. And in the process of doing that, he transforms from being an old-ass man back to his 13-year-old self. But the billionaire didn't give a shit about them, so he named them all by number. After this one had traveled to the future, they all got names later, so he's still just 5. And the rest of them all have names. And 5 is the best fucking character on the show.
Yeah.
Because he is from the future, he is the perfect assassin. And seeing this 13-year-old boy walking around cussing like a sailor, drinking like a fish, and talking down to everyone around him who are 20 to 30 years older than him. You listen here. But the first season of this show is amazing. The second season is pretty good. I'm in the middle of the third season right now, which is where things really start to go off the rails for reasons that are not entirely PC, because the one with no powers is played by Elliot Page.
Okay.
And as he was going through his different sexuality changes and gender changes, they reflected that on the show, and in season 3 you can tell there's a lot of forcedness and pandering to it, that whenever you look at the timeline of the show for the character, things completely break down. And Yeah, there's just a lot of these, okay, we get it, stop with the hooray for us for being so progressive and positive towards this stuff that they have lost the track of the actual plot that they're telling. I haven't started season 4 yet, but I've heard a bunch of people fucking hated it. But the first 2 seasons are amazing.
There's been a few shows that like have instances of things like that where they lean really hard into something and you just can't quite figure out like how story wise that makes sense. Shit, I've seen it happen in wrestling. It's just it's very odd to me. It's kind of like when well, actually now that I'm thinking about it, this is kind of actually quite different. But when The Witcher first came out, and people made a big hubbub about like some of the actresses not all being white like they were in the games, and I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, if they're good at, on one hand, I get it because in your head you've got these characters, you've seen them in video games, you've read about them in the books, they're all from Europe, like from way back in the day. So
Yeah.
like there weren't a lot of African immigrants at that time that I know of, at least in Poland and Witcher. But they didn't even give these actors and actresses like a chance to show you if they were any good or not. And now having seen The Witcher, the girl who plays Yennefer, really good. The girl who plays Triss is really good. Like they're really good. So it's like give them a chance. And that's why I'm saying that's a little different than what you're saying because you're watching the evolution of a character and then they just start force feeding a bunch of stuff in about, that particular character. It's almost like maybe the focus of the show has shifted to that character as opposed to all of the. Is that what you're kind of getting at? Is that they're focusing more on?
Well, it's not just that they're focusing more on this one character. I think it was a case of when they did the first season, they didn't know that they were going to be picked up for a second. Like it could have just been a one-off and left on a cliffhanger, but it wasn't that intense of one. And then Ellen Page, now Elliot Page, in the show playing a heterosexual woman. In season 2, I think they realized, okay, this is going to be going on for a while. And what it really felt like was, hey, I'm a lesbian. I want that to be reflected in my character if we're going to be doing this for a while. And it felt a little bit shoehorned, but it still made sense plot-wise. And then when season 3 hit, he had made the transition, and that is completely out of left field for the character. They have one episode with a really bad wig where he's still portraying the original character in the original gender. And then the excuse that they bring up for the character transitioning is super flimsy. And the entire group and all these characters are like major assholes and dysfunctional. Everyone is totally like, yeah, you know what, good for you, and no one fucks up in dead names at all. There should have been like at least there's one character very specifically that I think, if you were being true to the character, would have been very like, what the fuck, and would have been antagonistic to it. There were 2 characters that I think would have consistently tripped over their dick and fucked it up, and one who would have, in a very venomous fight, done it just to hurt them.
And had they gone that route, I feel like that would have been more. Like they could have done better storytelling with that, as far as an arc for the characters, or maybe the real asshole comes around eventually, even if it takes a season or 2. The one, maybe the vicious. There's things that you could have done with that instead of just shoehorning and making it like everybody conflict. Like controversy creates cash, right? That's what Eric Bischoff says. So like, there could have been ways that they ran about that, but I get what you.
But it is a product of where this country was at the time, where every time there was trans people being put in the media, everything turned preachy instead of trying to make a story where there's obvious conflict that's going to pop up. And that is, in my opinion, the real reason that so many people have problems with what they call woke media. It feels like we're being preached to the entire time instead of just do the story. You know what I mean?
And no, and I can totally get that because it's like instead of just shoving it into your faces and like things like that, it's like take the opportunity to tell a story, and in that story, you can teach. You know what I mean? There's a difference in teaching and preaching, right? Like, truly. And I feel like that's just a better way of going about it, is being able to teach somebody, like that. Just because like a man and a man do each other, they're not evil. There are ways to go about it instead of just being like, it has to be this way, yada yada yada. You can be like, well, here's on a humanity level, here's why, and you can use that as storytelling devices and stuff. And I feel like you can weave really good stories like that. Fuck the House in Fata Morgana. Holy shit, what a visual novel that was. And in the end, it wove in this trans story that you weren't really expecting, but it did it so beautifully. And it made the rest of these parts of that were kind of obscured throughout the rest of the thing make sense. And it's like, holy shit. Celeste is another one that's like a good example of it. Doesn't throw it in your face, but it is very much a storytelling part of it, and
almost to the point that one felt like a retcon.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like contrast that with y'all familiar with the game Catherine?
Yes.
I know of it. Yeah.
All right.
The art style inspired Persona 5.
So, which it was an Atlas game. How Atlas loves to re-release games with extra content shoved in, and then
they like to put out a game and then they release like a special edition of the game.
Right.
Yeah.
They did that like 12 years after the fact with Catherine full body, and they added a third character because the whole conceit of that is he's got his girlfriend Catherine and then this chick that he got drunk and banged named Catherine, but their names are spelled different. The full body edition introduces a third one who's just goes by Ren, but it's Catherine with a Q. And in this extended version, she is introduced into the story by like landing crotch first in his face in like the beginning of the game, and then if you're pursuing her through your choices later in the game, you find out, she's a trans woman, and they kind of trip on their dick, and they don't do it super PC because he sees her naked. He's like, are you staring at the dick? Are you a guy? And at this point, I'm like, you didn't feel the bulge in your face?
I was gonna say, from Catherine, that doesn't surprise me from that game. Catherine, that game, it's an interesting one. But I was unaware of that. I was unaware of the full body edition.
I just found out about it a couple months ago myself. But yeah, like when someone lands crotch first in your face and you didn't know it, because like there's a distinct smell to dick.
Dane knows from experience. He's had so many in his face.
Look, I was young and needed the money. I'm not here on trial. But
little boy Blue, he needed the money.
But yeah, someone lands crotch first on your face and you're surprised later when you see they have a penis. I'm just saying.
Or impeccable tuck job.
It would have to be.
I mean, impeccable tuck job.
But yeah, we've been off the rails for too long. I don't think we had any.
Dive into hell.
I don't think we had any submissions for Haha Doubt and Found an Error this week. Did you catch anything, Jeff?
Not that I'm aware.
All right, 100% accurate last show.
I'm pretty sure I caught. I think I remember catching myself. It's like, there. Now we won't be able to have a haha such and such found an error.
So yeah, no errors last time. So the meat of the episode. This was your pick, Jeff.
Yes, it was.
Event Horizon. Why did you do this to us?
Yeah.
Did you watch the movie?
Yes, I watched the movie.
That's why.
No, like this is the first time I've watched it. I know this is the first time that Dalton watched it. You're the only one with history for this, so you've got to carry this segment. Why did you want to watch this movie? Why did you believe it?
I just told you. Did you watch the movie? You did. That's the reason why.
Yeah, but someone listening to this might not have watched the fucking movie.
Well, then that person is an idiot and need to stop what they're doing right now and watch Event Horizon.
We are killing Dalton right now.
It just makes me think of those YouTube channels that are like, pause the video and go play the game and then come back and we'll talk.
Exactly.
Tell us about the first time you watched
Okay.
it. Something. Come on.
This was the first time I've seen this movie.
You assholes.
So full of shit.
No.
Bag of
So
dicks.
I'm trying to think.
Suck a bag of
I'm trying to think. So it's funny. So the first time I actually ever saw this movie on screen, it was during break time when I was working at Jewel, a grocery store, and for maybe one month, my boss is like, you know what, we're gonna have cable television running through the upstairs break room TV.
Oh, shit.
It's like, oh boy. And then they stopped paying the bill or whatever, and it never came back. It's like, well, that's a waste of TV. Good job, guys. But I remember I only saw like 15 minutes of it, and I remember just watching it. I'm just like, it's supposed to be at the time I heard this was supposed to be like a very gory movie, and it's just like, I didn't see anything. That's like, well, let me watch the entire movie. So I remember maybe a week later I saw it on Prime or Netflix. It was one of those two. It's like, all right, oh, good, it's on. I'm gonna watch this thing. Made myself some chicken nuggets. Poured myself a Code Red. This was when I was still drinking soda. Let's watch this thing. And the entire movie, I'm just going like, what am I missing? Everyone says this is supposed to be a scary, gory movie, and nothing is happening. What am I missing? It's not like I wasn't hating or not enjoying myself. It was fine for what it is. You know, the first part of the movie, there's a lot of good. I won't say very good, but it's good, pretty good suspense. I mean, yes, it's very cheesy, but I was enjoying myself, and eventually it hits the point right as soon as I hear. I keep calling him Larry Fish, Lawrence Fishburne. He says, "We're leaving."
Oh, I fucking love that.
And then all of a sudden, the unsureness. Of course, that's heavy quotations of it's like, who is Sam Neill the villain or not?
Now,
you have to be a complete idiot to realize, oh, he's definitely the villain. But eventually, he gets to the point where it's just like, you can't leave. She won't let you. All of a sudden, it's just like, oh boy, now we're getting somewhere. Now the fun factor is starting to kick in. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I jumped the gun a little bit. I forgot what we're supposed to do. I skipped over the mandatory internet article blurb.
Everyone knows this movie. Like I said, if you don't know this movie, then you're an idiot.
For the 3 people who don't.
And and stop listening to us right now and watch this fucking movie.
For the 3 people who don't, Event Horizon 1997, courtesy of themoviedb.org. In 2047, a group of astronauts are sent to investigate and salvage the starship Event Horizon, which disappeared mysteriously 7 years ago before on its maiden voyage. However, it soon became evident that something sinister resides in its corridors. So, there you go. That's the article blurb.
Fantastic.
And with a budget of $60 million, its gross revenue was $26,700 at its box office. So,
yeah, this was a major flop.
Fucking bomb. It didn't make half its money back in the box office, but did hit cult status, and that's the reason we're talking about it today, apparently.
Yes, we are. But to continue, it eventually gets to that point where the second half of the movie, now all of a sudden, here comes all the killings. Here's all the over-the-top acting from Lawrence Fishburne and Sam Neill. It's like, yes, all right, this is fantastic. I'm enjoying myself. Where the hell's the gore? I'm still kind of missing. This is supposed to be a very gory movie. And it gets... We'll discuss it more in detail later. We do get snippets of the gore. But it's not much. So it's just like the movie ends, and go ahead, Dalton.
No, I just wanted to say, before I forgot, a conversation that I had with you while we were doing our watch along was, this is my favorite era of CG. Like, because this was when they were just starting to get kind of good at it, but it still looks really like 2000s PC video game. and I fucking love it.
Oh, the CG in this movie is terrible, but the practical effects look amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The practical effects in this and the actual sets they built, for all the problems I have with them, which we will get to eventually, are amazingly done.
If not extremely heavy-handed. And I mentioned this in the movie chat, Dalton, where it's just like, hey, did you guys notice the shape of the corridors? As I can't remember her name, but Kathleen Quinlan, the mother, was walking around. You said that dumb bitch. But I was like, hey, did you notice the shape of the corridors?
Like,
it's in the shape of a coffin.
Yeah, the first time the coffin doorway showed up, I'm like, oh, you know what? That's a nice subtle touch. And then the whole corridor is a coffin. I'm like, okay, they're wanting to make sure you didn't miss it. Oh, and here's another coffin. And like, I looked at the timestamps. I'm like, okay, we've had a full 90 seconds of her walking through coffin-shaped every fucking thing. Is the goddamn ladder going to be coffin-shaped? I think it might have been.
I will say, this actually just occurred to me now. So you see, right before they enter the core, you have to go through like this. For me, I've tried walking through these kinds of rooms where it's the rotating tunnel. Inversion tunnels. Last time I went in one, I lasted about 3 seconds. I immediately had to, I can't do this. I immediately, almost fell to the ground.
Oh, I can promise you that was as easy as they were walking through it, that was digitally put there.
It had to be.
Oh, you could tell that was CG.
Yeah, totally.
But it's just like, you look at it, it's like, okay, it looks like this really sharp razor metal. No one dies in that thing.
Yeah, the fact that
it's like no one gets chopped up or anything.
They totally forgot the rule of fucking Chekhov's gun with that one, because the first time they walk into it, they're like, it looks like a giant meat grinder. I'm like, ooh, I can't wait for somebody to be fucking killed in this.
Okay, do you want me to, do you guys want to say your first impressions of the movie, or do you want me to just clear it out of the way with this major fact?
I think I know the fact that you want to get to.
So, kind of already spoiled it for you, Dalton, but there was supposed to be an extended cut version of this. This movie was originally, from what the Wikipedia says, 130 minutes, so 2 hours and 10 minutes. And the runtime of this movie, I think, is an hour 40 something.
Yeah, it's like an hour 36.
Yeah. So that means there's 40 minutes cut out of this movie.
Maybe even a little more.
30, 40 minutes. And the gore and the violence was supposed to be heavily used. So all the little snippets you see in the computer screen and all the quick hallucinations, that was supposed to be you're supposed to see it.
These were
in clear
whole
detail
scenes that they cut down for a montage.
If you actually take a look, if you stop and look at some of these visuals, just go on YouTube or just do a quick slow motion through that scene, you could see the visuals were extremely grotesque.
Yeah, that's the word I was going to use too, is grotesque. Yeah, they're fucking ridiculous, dude.
I went through those scenes.
That's why I was
just to see a little bit better some of the shit that was going on. Mm-hmm. Holy shit.
And what blows my mind is what I've always heard about this movie. I expected those little snippets to be a major part of it. All I ever knew was that these guys go on a ship. Here's what I thought. They end up on a ship called the Event Horizon. They go through a black hole. They end up in hell. And the last part of the movie is just you watching everyone get tortured.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought it was. I was very surprised that it wasn't.
Well, that could have been the original cut of this movie. But because of the fact that, because of these grotesque visuals, I think it was not even NC-17. I think this was rated X. And the, was it the MPAA or the, I don't know who runs that. It's just you have to tone this down.
So they did a test screening.
This movie... Yeah, go ahead.
They did do a test screening. and the audience for the test screening were so repulsed by the graphic scenes in that original 2-hour, 10-minute cut, and the producers and the actual studio, when they saw that initial cut, they were like, "This is what we've spent money on." They mandated such a brutal cut, like, they lost over half an hour of footage in the process because it was so intense. Now, it has been revealed that Paul W.S. Anderson. Did I get that right?
Paul W.S. Anderson, the director of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Which I've got things to say about that later on. He's also the director of all those terrible fucking Resident Evil movies.
Yeah. Those
First
movies
one's
suck
fine.
in the greatest way.
First one's fine.
I like 2 as well. Great soundtrack. Probably one of the reasons I really like it, though, is because the soundtrack's really good. It's like Queen of the Damned.
But this movie was like his first attempt at being Ridley Scott.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
And you can kind of see that. I mean, sorry to
You're
interrupt. Like, I made the comment during the movie when they're gathering around, it's like, all right, we're here to talk about the mission. So they're in, like, the mess hall sort of area. It's like, this looks like the area they eat, the dining area, and the Nostromo in Alien.
Yeah, and
It kind of has that same vibe.
the ship that they show up in, the Lewis and Clark,
Mhm.
that ship definitely has Nostromo vibes. But the Event Horizon itself has heavy, heavy fucking Geiger vibes.
Yes. I will say I did love your reaction, Dalton, because when they first get like a sense of scale between the two ships, you're like, God damn, that's a big ass ship.
Yeah, I said, God damn, it's a big ass ship. I was like, fucking hell. And then Kana made the good comparison of that this movie would fit in the 40K universe.
All right, fun fact on that. There is a contingent of people who treat this movie as being canon to the 40K universe.
I mean, honestly, I could see it from what little I know about 40K. I could see it.
That is a spot on assessment. There is a group of people who love this movie and like headcanon have inducted this into being way in the past for Warhammer 40K.
But just to finish my point, that 30-40 minutes that was taken out of the movie, it's lost forever. I mean, I think I heard there might be one like very grainy Salt Mines version of the 40 minutes, but I think it's in such poor condition that the likelihood we're ever going to see a director's cut is next to zero.
So I have a theory that I want to discuss. So you mentioned the salt mines. The official statement that has been provided by Paul W.S. Anderson was that the footage for the original cut and like all of the deleted scenes negatives, they were stored, and this is his exact words, in a salt mine in Transylvania.
Yeah.
Really? Why?
No fucking joke. That is what he has said. Now, the reason that they would store it in a salt mine, this makes sense. Salt mines, salt absorbs moisture, so it is a good place for storing film stock because moisture can destroy that stuff. But it was stored improperly. The footage got damaged. It's lost forever. There will never be a director's cut for this film. But that is so hyper-specific that it feels like bullshit. So I don't think that Anderson is making things up. I think that's what they told him. And they burned it.
That's possible. I honestly think that this would make a good like a one season thing on like Netflix or something. You know what I mean? Because they could have one episode that is that hardcore stuff. Put a fucking warning at the beginning of it so people know this episode's going to be ridiculous. Because, I mean, I've seen some really grotesque murders and things on Netflix in documentaries and stuff. So, like,
there's been some really grotesque stuff since then. So this would definitely play very well with modern media.
But imagine being the actors that had to go through filming those torture scenes and had to deal with like all that weird stuff,
Well,
holding your eyes open and stuff, and then it's just not
you,
there.
you look at those actors, but then you have all the visual effects people that actually had to create someone like a wax model figure of a spike going through the chin, out the mouth, covered in maggots.
So I want to talk about, since we're, broaching the subject of imagine being those people. So those scenes in question, which are referred to colloquially as the blood orgy scenes, that was filmed by a second unit. So that was not part of the main film production. This was kind of done off to the side by a second unit away from general production. The things that I found about that second unit utilized two very specific groups of people for those scenes: porn stars and real life amputees.
This stuff you're talking, I have heard this before from the Nostalgia Critic.
It's funny. I have seen other films where porn stars and amputees coincide with one another.
Toxic Avenger.
And I'm reminded of a line from a Bo Burnham song: "I'm offensive and creative like handicapped porn." So the things that they were able to accomplish by having real amputees on set and porn stars who were perfectly fine being naked and doing something that was approximating the nasty during these scenes. I can understand how that shit would be so intense, because like reports that I'd seen described, it was shit like people being sodomized by lead pipes. There was a scene in question where a woman had like a breast ripped off. People who were having limbs severed. They knew when they were making it that they were just having fun. None of this was going to be able to make a final cut when they did it. It is sad the fact that almost all of their effort was essentially lost. But using real amputees in that to be able to get those practical effects, it does feel like a loss for a era of film history that is of the past, where so much shit is CG now.
Yes, you could definitely tell this is one of those. This was one of those final movies where there was a pretty good balance between practical and CG.
And I have heard the theory and completely agree with it. Home video version of this was in the era where VHS was still the standard. I think it was 4 or 5 years ago they did a 4K remaster of this for Blu-ray. I distinctly remember that CG did not look as bad back in the days of VHS.
Oh, yeah, you were watching on a CRT. The resolution was real low.
I would say if you watch this movie in, say, like 480, you're not going to have the crappy CG moments that they did have in it. They're not going to stand out.
I will say that when we watched the stream on the movie channel chat thing, it was a 1080p DVD rip version.
And you could definitely tell, like when they first enter the ship, and you could just see all the horrible CG items just floating around. But then you get the ever funny line from, I think it was Lawrence Fishburne. It's just like, it's frozen in here. And then you hear a bottle of water flying around, and you can clearly hear the water swooshing around. Just like, yep, everything is frozen except that bottled water.
Can I bitch about the sound effects for a second?
Oh my god! Yeah, please, because I have something
amazing,
to say.
Right? They're amazing, right?
Oh man, like the last 20 minutes of this goddamn movie. So I want to be a little forgiving. They were competing with Titanic when this movie came out. They had a 6-week editing window. You can hear
That's
the
rough.
point
That's tight.
where the editors ran out of fucks in this movie, and it is the last 20 minutes of this film. That is the only charitable explanation. The only other explanation that I can come up with is Anderson forgot he wasn't doing Mortal Kombat anymore, because during that fight scene with Fishburne and Neil, those like slapping a slab of meat with a wooden block for Foley moments.
Dude, I said in the chat, I said they stole these straight from Street Fighters.
Well, it doesn't help that that opening shot with the camera panning away from the space station as it's rotating. Apparently, from what I heard, that took a third of the budget.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, the miniatures that they made, because they made actual scale minis of the ships, because practical, they weren't doing it with CG. The effort and detail that they went into making that opening shot, and like the few times that you see the ships from outside throughout the film, yeah, that is a third of their budget, was making and filming that shit.
Oh my God.
I mean, it looks fantastic.
$20 million because they had a budget of 60.
I'm so glad you brought that up, though, because I was going to bring up that last fight scene where when they punch each other, and it's like they might as well put bang, pow, boom,
zip,
and all this shit on the screen as they were hitting each other, because it sounded like 60s Batman. I was like, what is this?
Like when they blew out the crucifix-shaped glass window, and all these props are flying through the air and being sucked out into the vacuum of space. It's like every super cartoony bing bong dong boom. Psh. I kept waiting for a zip and a zowie. Like they ran.
Yeah, this movie was built on a budget.
All out of fucks when they were editing that fucking part of the movie. It's just like, we've been working on this for 5.5 weeks. We got 3 days. Just fucking throw something in there.
I mean, I think that supposedly at the end, during that final confrontation, when you hear Lawrence Fishburne be like, "I know, in hell," apparently that was ADR, or at least it sounds ADR, because apparently it's just like, "Hey, audience, we know you're dumb. This is in hell."
I got the impression that everything about that final confrontation between, I'll use the character names Miller and Weir.
Mm-hmm.
The whole time I was watching that, I'm like, this feels ADR'd and pieced together, because there's a lot of really tight cuts on Sam Neill's face where you can just see his eyes and kind of his mouth moving. I'm like, it feels like they're reusing shit or repurposing shit. And I did manage to find some evidence poking around on the internet that there were 2 endings originally that they had shot for this movie. One where Miller, Lawrence Fishburne, is facing off against the poltergeist of the man that he left behind to burn to death that's been haunting him through the film. And one where he's facing off against the mutilated Dr. Weir, played by Sam Neill. And that they kind of spliced those 2 endings together into one, because audiences responded a little bit better to him fighting against a man who had been on fire, and then interconnecting that with the shit with Sam Neill, where he was all mutilated.
I also had a wonder if Anderson had played, or if what year did this come out?
97.
98?
97.
97. I believe Abe's Odyssey was out by then, because Sam Neill, when he turns that chair around and his eyes are sewn shut, my first thing in the chat was, he looks like a Madokin from Abe's Odyssey.
We're going to hell. Follow me. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I love that you could fart in that game and he just giggles. It's so good.
So I guess we haven't really touched on the general plot of the film. We've just been mostly focusing on that last half hour.
I mean, you stated what the plot is all about.
So,
what a ship tried making the maiden voyage, and the reason that this was such a huge deal, because this was a prototype ship for a faster than light propulsion system, and it was supposed to, its destination was supposed to be Proxima Centauri. And what it did was it left our known universe entirely, and what it went to a dimension as this, quote, pure chaos.
So the film opens up with it went past, was it Neptune?
Neptune.
And then they lost communication. The ship was lost, and it was considered the greatest loss or most detrimental loss in spacefaring history. And then 7 years later, they get a distress call and they're going out to respond. That's the story that it opens up with. And props to the writers, very quickly, they're very open about, hey, that was the story that was told to the public. The truth was, like Jeff said, it was an experimental gravity drive for faster than light travel. And something went wrong. We don't know what, but this ship is the Event Horizon, which the name of the ship I thought was really cleverly done, because the Event Horizon is the point around a black hole of no return.
Correct.
Once you cross that event horizon, you're fucked. There is no escaping the gravitational pull. And the gravity drive, which looks like a biblically accurate angel, which is something I did not see talked about anywhere online. That wheel within a wheel within a wheel covered in eyes, that's what the gravity wheel or the gravity drive looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That thing is a small self-contained black hole that they use to create a wormhole to go from one point to another, circumventing Einstein's law of relativity.
So the science behind it, I mean, obviously, it is what it is, but it's smart enough science for a horror movie.
And Sam Neill does a good job of explaining it like quickly, where he's like, see this piece of paper, poke a hole here,
not just a piece of paper.
The grav drive puts those together.
A pin-up model from a wall of softcore pornography held by the pilot, because pilot is allowed to have porn on his wall.
I don't even consider that porn. That was like a glamour model.
Hey man, when I was younger, I spanked it to many a glamour model. It's like, oh, this magazine's selling bras?
I forget
Sweet.
the name that he dropped, so I'm just want to say Veronica. That's Veronica, and she's mine. And then he starts poking holes to it, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck? This isn't even my poster, and I'm offended.
But yeah, I like the fact that he asked a simple question: what is the fastest way between 2 points? It's like a straight line. It's like, nope. And that's when he folded the paper. It's like point A and B, for one brief moment, coexist in space-time. Which,
breaking it down Barney style for a bunch of people who are very much not layman's. This is a rescue group. Like, their job is shit goes sideways, we show up and we help them type crew.
And Dr. Weir is the architect of the gravity drive.
Yes, he designed it, so the ship was his baby. So I guess it's worth talking about a little bit about the ship, because when I was watching the movie, the ship is modeled after the cathedral in Notre Dame.
I can see that, a giant cross.
Like the big, long hallway with the vaulted ceilings. It's kind of oval shaped. That was modeled after like the main area within the cathedral. If you compared the ship with the cathedral, apparently like the two big buildings towards the back of it would be turned to the side for the thrusters for the ship. So it was meant to emulate that, to get that Gothic architecture style. But they went so hard trying to make the Event Horizon's interior look scary. The first airlock door that opened up and had those wicked ass fucking spikes in every single direction. Like, even before the
Jeff
meat
mentioned that too, but
grinder hallway that they had to walk through. Like, just the first time that door opened up and I saw those fucking we're going to cleave you in half meat spikes sticking out the bottom of those doors for the airlock, I'd be like, nope.
For it's literally no reason at all. But I will say the reason the ship is designed like this, its exterior layout, there is a practical reason for it. Is in case of a massive failure, the long corridor that separates the bridge section from the engineering, it explodes and it detonates and it separates. Like the inertia created by the explosions will push the two ends apart from each other. So in case of a failsafe, and as we see in the movie, the engineering section will go through its black hole or explode or whatever the failure is, while the bridge section, the forward section, acts as a lifeboat.
All right.
So there's a practical reason for this design.
It's practical until you think about it a little too hard, because why do we have to blow it up? Trains have fucking couplings that you can unhook. And further, why do we have to arm these explosives manually? Why is there a button in the fucking cockpit?
I have a feeling that was the ship itself.
I get the feeling that they wrote the script and they're like, this is going to be cool. What about shut the fuck up? It's going to be cool.
Pretty much. I'm sure that the production reason. Well, why are you doing it like that? Because shut the fuck up. What was that famous Armageddon commentary with Michael Bay and Ben Affleck? Is like, wouldn't it be easier to train astronauts to drill instead of drillers training to be astronauts? And Michael Bay responds like, how about you shut the fuck up?
Tolkien had the same sort of reaction when people asked why didn't they just get the eagles to carry them to Mordor. And Tolkien himself, there's an audio recording. He's like, someone wrote me and said, what if the eagles were able to sweep in and save them at the last minute so that they didn't die in Mordor? Why didn't they just carry them there so that they could destroy the ring and bypass all of this war and strife and pain and suffering they went through? And my response to those people is obviously, shut up. There wouldn't be. If we did that, there's no story. So do you want to read the story, or do you want to just, solve it and be done in 10 pages?
It makes a hilarious 30-second animated short on YouTube.
It reminds me of, you guys know the song September by Earth, Wind and Fire? Do you remember the 21st night of September? That song. In the chorus, it goes, Badia, say do you remember Badia?
Oh, yeah.
And one of the guys in the band thought that was just a placeholder lyric. And he goes up to the dude, the lead singer, whose name I can't remember at the moment, but he did Easy Lover with Phil Collins. And he said, what does Badia mean? And he looked at him and he went, who fucking cares? It's like, it's catchy, it fits, and people sing it. Like, who gives a shit what it means? It's like, so sometimes they just do it just because.
Same deal with the breakdown at the end of Sweet Child of Mine. That where do we go? Yeah, they just didn't know what the fuck to do. Like, where do we go now? And left it.
Amazing.
Axel kept saying it, and Slash was like, okay, fuck it. I'm just going to fucking do a solo.
I love it.
So, I got a question for y'all. Do either of you think this movie is actually scary?
No.
No. Not
Same.
It had some tense moments, and maybe one or two moments that I would consider possibly a jump scare of sorts. But as far as horror, no, not at all.
So I've seen a bunch of people online who are talking about how they found this movie really genuinely scary, or one of the scariest horror movies ever made. The only way that makes sense to me personally is these are people who watched it back in 97 when they were little kids. Remember this being a holy shit, because apparently this was just on HBO all the fucking time because it bombed, so it was cheap to show. There are moments that I can in isolation see the horror in, but I did not find this movie scary. When what's his name, Justin,
Justin,
which
yeah.
that's supposed to be his last name. That's not a fucking last
Baby
name.
Bear. Baby
Whoever
Bear.
came up with the idea to give someone the last name of Justin, fuck you. That is not a last name. He is the first one to get sucked through the gravity drive, hang out in hell for a few minutes. He's saved by Cooper, and then he's comatose for most of the film. The airlock scene where,
It's tense.
like, I know what happens to a human body when it gets jettisoned into the vacuum of space. And, like, him coming to and the fear of, oh shit, as that airlock is decompressing, him screaming about his eyes, because I'm like, yeah, guess what? Your eyes are going to pop out. Lawrence Fishburne screaming, get all the air out of your lungs, breathe out hard and get it all out. If you got a lung full of air, whenever you're suddenly put into a vacuum, guess what? That vacuum sucks the air out
Expands.
at such an intense speed, it's going to rupture everything right there. Like, the idea of going through that, to me, because, we're these nice, flimsy little meat puppets, in isolation, that is a scary thought. Or the fucking...
One thing I...
Like...
No.
Just the body horror of the blood orgy scenes that are hinted at. I think the fact that they didn't show everything and they just kind of, like, flashed through it made it seem more intense than anything they actually filmed and could have shown in excruciating detail.
I have heard this movie being referred to as, like, gateway horror. So it's not true horror, but for, like you were saying, like, kids who are, young age, 9, 10 years old, they see this for the first time. It's like, oh my God, that was the scariest thing I've ever seen. So it's like, okay, I get it. This movie can be like an introduction to the horror genre, and then as you start expanding to other horror movies. But yeah, this is not scary. But I will say before you say, I just want that whole scene with Justin in the airlock. One thing that it's just like Miller, he pushed the button to open up the airlock. It's on a 30-second delay. Then it cuts to, what's his name, Stark. It's like, I'm trying to activate the override. Why didn't Justin just push the button to cancel it? They never mentioned this. Is like, pushing the button will cancel the 30-second countdown.
There's another push the button moment that's really funny to me.
Oh, damn it. No, I just did it again with Armageddon. Push the button.
When Weir goes crazy, rips out his own eyes, and then he takes one of the explosives from that emergency fail-safe hallway and plants it in the Clark. I forget the character's name, but it's not DJ. Smitty. Lawrence Fishburne, Miller, is yelling at him, get out of there, and he's like, nope. He's going to find it because they just fixed the Clark so they can get out of there. And then he finally finds the bomb, and the timer's running, and he looks at it, and it's got 5 seconds left. And in the film, he just kind of, tick, 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 boom. If you pause the movie and look at that screen, there is a button at the bottom that says disarm. You had 6 fucking seconds to reach out and mash. Fucking idiot. Like,
I saw first time I saw that, it's just like, well, you're not very bright, are you, Smitty? That's why you died. But then we get that amazing scene with Cooper. It's like, man, what the fuck am I supposed to do all the way out here? Here I come, motherfucker!
Motherfucker!
Oh.
I want to quickly say
this movie's way too funny for it to be scary.
That it is. There was more than one time that I just laughed out loud. I just liked that you called this a portal to new horror, because there's a portal in the movie, so it's like they're going through the Event Horizon portal into horror movies, and it's just a beautiful way to look at it.
So, did anyone else feel like Cooper was sucked out of a Michael Bay movie?
I could see it.
Because Michael Bay always has
It's
that
like-
one just goofy trash talking black guy in every movie he makes. And even if it's not a black guy,
So you're
it's
saying
a
that character
transformer
was,
who talks like a black guy.
So you're saying that Michael Clark Duncan is that character in Armageddon?
Exactly.
I don't remember him being very trash talky.
I have a hard time.
I think that was Steve Buscemi.
Probably. I have a hard time thinking about, Michael Clark Duncan devoid of,
Meanwhile,
well, Green Mile was like his big breakout. Oh, he can really act role. I'm thinking about a movie that got advertised on Comedy Central late night when they would do the Girls Gone Wild video commercials, where like it was a skit where Michael Clark Duncan played the gay virgin. Do y'all remember this?
was that the underground comedy
the
tour or
underground
whatever?
comedy movie
The movie
where he's like, there's this little white dude
Yeah, that was-
who's like, and Michael Clark Duncan's got him pinned against the wall. And he's like, I'm saving myself for the right man. And here's Mr. Right here, baby. Come here. That scene just in isolation had ruined Michael Clark Duncan for me for life.
that movie was written and made by the dude who did he was the infomercial guy that wasn't Billy Mays.
Mays here.
It was the other guy, the guy that did Slap Chop. The Slap Chop. So he was the one that's like, "You're gonna love my nuts," and then he did. It was like a Sham Wow
British
type
dude?
thing, and he's talking about you
wait,
could
no,
dry it off and
Sham Wow
everything.
guy. That's
No,
a different dude.
and he goes, "Wet pussy, no problem." And he talks about you can dry off your cat with these, no issue. But he said that in a commercial, "Wet pussy, no problem." Like, is Vince something
Vince
or other?
Offer. Vince Offer.
Yeah. Yeah, him. He made that comedy movie.
I did not know that was the dude who did it, but for some reason that makes perfect
Yeah, I know. Oh yeah, the part of the commercial I remember from that is the old lady coming down the hill in the wheelchair, and the dude standing at the end of the hill in a baseball uniform with a baseball bat, just waiting for her to come down, and it cuts away right as he swings towards her face as she's coming towards him, and it cuts to another scene, and that was part of the commercial that stuck with me.
Yeah.
But, dude, overall, Event Horizon though, like, I thought this was an entertaining movie, but I definitely went in thinking it was more scary. And that's my thought on whether this is a horror movie or not. Because like Jeff said, there's a lot of chuckles in this for it
Yes.
to, like, and when I think of movies that make me chuckle, I think of like campy horror. So maybe this kind of falls into that these days.
If you really tried hard enough, I guess you could put this in the same league as something as Tucker and Dale. Even though Tucker and Dale is definitely horror comedy, whereas this is supposed to be like a serious horror movie that just happens to be fun.
Well,
Yeah.
when you boil it down to like its most primal, a scare and a laugh are both built on the exact same structure of create an expectation and then defy that expectation. With comedy, it's you expect this one thing and then you get something unexpected and you laugh. With a scare, you expect this one thing and then something scary happens and you go, ah!
I will say, I think the reason this movie doesn't work as horror is because the first, well, for one, it's just like there's not a lot of jump scares, and even when there are, they're very far in between. I stated this last episode, this movie is slow. It takes its time. And I don't know if you guys felt it, and I still feel it. I like it, but you could definitely say that the first part of this movie, this first half, is slow.
But it does nail the atmosphere.
It nails the atmosphere correctly, but it's still just one of those things of like, all right, come on, we know what's going to happen. Come on, show us. What's Kathleen Peters? She's in the medical bay, and she is just like, okay, we hear sound effects, and all of a sudden, but it does cut to like the corpse, and all of a sudden it's just like it's standing up, or it's scratching against the canvas. So it's like, okay, it's a little
Didn't
creepy.
she call it a corpse sickle?
But
Yeah, I think so.
was it a corpse?
Corpsicle. The
Yes,
floating
it was
body.
her. No. That's what I'm trying to say. Is it was it her that said that? I couldn't remember.
I can't remember if it was her
Like
or
when Lawrence
Stark.
Fishburne got scared by the glove. When he first goes in and that glove comes out and he's like, "Oh, motherfucker!" And then everybody makes fun of him for it. I will say, like, the first 30 minutes of this, Jeff was like, "You must be intrigued by this, Dalton. You're being very quiet."
I
was like,
did.
I am.
There were a few times it's just like both you and Kana were just not talking. It's just like I know you both are finding this intriguing because you're not talking.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I was trying to take in the info.
No, on that note, I have to leave because I have to get up very early tomorrow morning, and it's getting too late for me. So you guys can continue, but I have to bugger off.
All right, before you go, I have
You have
one
a
last
wonderful
question
sleep
for you,
tonight.
Jeff. Was Dr.
right.
Ware evil from the beginning, or did he turn evil?
I think he was always. I won't say he was evil, but I definitely say he was egomaniacal because you could definitely tell at the beginning. It's just, but you can tell that he has an ego, but it doesn't help that every time he's trying to explain something, Miller is just like, "Doctor, we don't have the time for this. Get to your pod," or it's just like it's. So I have a feeling it's just like his how the way that Miller was treating him and the rest of the crew. It's just like, okay, I'm gonna fuck you all. And then eventually, just when he gets on the event horizon, that's when he slowly starts to change.
Okay, I was curious on your take on that because that was my big question whenever I finished it was, did he come out here meaning ill, or did he just kind of slowly go mad with everything else and give into it?
I think he just went mad. The problem is it wasn't subtle.
Yeah.
Like when my last quick thing is I can't remember exactly what the moment is. No, it was right as the gravity drive was doing its little berserk thing, which damages the Clark. You know, everyone is like going berserk. You know, like haywire, and you just see Weir just sitting in the captain's chair, just slowly look up with that like menacing like Alex from Clockwork Orange kind of stare. It's just like, gee, I wonder who the villain is.
Oh,
So I mean, I love Sam Neill in this movie, but his performance is not subtle, and that's what makes it actually kind of great.
well, I'll ask you real quick. Do you want to go ahead and give a final thoughts for it, and then I can cut it out and put it there at the end with the rest of ours?
I mean, I kind of pretty much stated this. And with that being said, gentlemen, I bid you adieu.
Peace
Have a
out.
good night,
'Cause we
Jeff.
probably ain't going to be here much longer anyway.
Peace.
See ya.
Dana, I do have to tell
Yeah.
you that the scene where Weir starts to go crazy, because I don't think it started off malicious. I think that the ship got in and started messing with, with what happened with his wife and all of that it was kind of hinted at. The scene where he's in the bathroom with her and he's talking to her, but she's not responding to him. When she disrobes, I said in chat, "Oh man, she's got great tits." And the next fucking scene is her laying in that bathtub with her wrist slit. And I'm like, oh man, I shouldn't have said that.
It's okay because she reanimates and pulls him into a warm embrace just a few minutes later, and he got to experience those first face.
Yeah. We got to see him a little closer, and I was in my head, I'm like, no, yeah, that actress has great tits. Small, but great.
So the other big like plot thing for the movie, they Sam Neill's character makes a big deal about how the ship has been places beyond our scientific understanding, and how after spending 7 years in this alternate dimension, that maybe it's hell, maybe it's this dimension of pure chaos that's even worse than hell, whatever. That the ship came back alive. And one of the other characters, I think Stark, the blonde one, I think she's the one that says it, talks about how she thinks that the things that they're going through and that's happening to them is like an immune response from the ship, and the ship is behaving like a living thing. So it really feels like the movie is trying to explicitly imply the ship has its own autonomy at this point. Do you buy into that, or do you think that that is the movie trying to say the characters are overthinking it and whatever is coming or happening is coming out from that gate?
Uh that's a good question. I think to me it more so seemed like whatever force was coming through that black hole portal essentially was mentally influencing it. And I think that maybe that, like the gravitational thing, if there was a brain of the ship, I think that that would also have been it, because when they're like, all right, we're leaving, and then they can't leave, the ship doesn't let them leave. um the parts where like Weir's in there trying to fix that broken the blown fuse, and he mentioned earlier in the movie that he's claustrophobic, and then he's in that little corridor and suddenly all the lights shut off. It's like the ship knew that it would scare him. You know what I mean? There was like weird things that maybe it's both. Maybe there's some of one is because of the other. I'm not really sure. What about you? What do you think?
So, and the big problem, this is an unfinished film. They cut where they cut so much out. You can tell there's a lot of things that were set up in scenes that have been deleted and lost to time now. So it leaves a bunch of shit up to speculation as a result. And while, in some respects that's a good thing because it gives you something to talk about, makes the movie kind of linger with you because you're like, well, hey, what the fuck was up with this? The things that they intended to explicitly state kind of got lost in the process. The pattern that I noticed with pretty much everyone on the crew who sees or experiences anything supernatural, it's all linked to guilt. So
That makes sense. The woman with her kid, him with his wife, the Lawrence Fishburne's character with the guy that he left behind. That makes a lot of sense.
there's guilt attached to everything. And it feels like with that blood orgy scene from the captain's logs that they had something they wanted to say there at the end whenever he's saying his big Latin phrase that translates to save yourself from hell. In that phrase, you would expect that to be a don't come here, save yourself from hell, don't go through this. But the way that he says it, and like if you rewatch that little scene, the captain of the Event Horizon from that video, he had already ripped his own eyes out and he's kind of holding them out like he's offering them. And he has this look of almost bliss on his face.
Yeah.
As if to imply, save yourself from hell by taking your eyes out and blinding yourself. It feels like they were building up to some sort of thing symbolically or with all this of save yourself from the hell of whatever guilt you're carrying. Let it go. Stop looking at it. Like there was some sort of message or symbol that they were aiming for that either got lost in that edit or just wasn't fully realized with the script.
I do feel like Fishburne's character, at least his character, got to wrong or right of sorts, where he didn't leave homegirl behind at the end and he saved her, unlike the other guy. But I didn't see much payoff for everyone else's. Like, well, the one lady, her demise was because she decided to follow a specter of her son that she should have known was not on the fucking ship. So, but that whole thing was weird to me. Like, it never really explained what was going on with her kid, and like she hallucinated her kid, but his legs were all fucked up with like oozing pus wounds and stuff. And I was like, what is going
My
on there?
takeaway from that was because, like, they were supposed to be on leave at this point, and the reason they're so hostile to Sam Neill's character, the Doc, is they kind of blame him for being the reason that they're all going back out to the farthest reaches of space that we've ever traveled before. And the last time that people went out here, the entire crew died. Like, so they're just, yeah.
Both crews. Yeah.
So like, there's a lot of resent towards all that shit, and just she's carrying guilt because she's away. Because he makes a point about I tried to get a replacement so that you could be with your son. She's like, no, he's with my ex, and I'll get the summer with him. So her guilt is not being with him, and the impression I took was maybe like she feels bad being away from him because maybe he does have some sort of problem with his legs. Like maybe the kid in real life back home, maybe he's in a wheelchair or something. I don't know.
That was something I thought too. Is maybe he had something that happened to his legs, and she was manifesting a memory of that. But I don't know. It was just very odd. But that goes back to though the ship's power over the people at the time, because had she been able to think rationally, she would be like, "Oh well, my son's not on this ship."
But like as far as them all not having payoffs, I kind of felt like they were showing the three possible routes for all that. Her being losing yourself in the guilt that you feel and it causing her to die. The doctor giving himself over to the guilt and becoming corrupted by it, and Miller facing the guilt head on and rising above it to the point that, yeah,
Okay,
he
I can see that.
sacrifices himself to not repeat the sin of the past that he still carries the guilt for. It's like that felt like what they were heading for, showing those your guilt kills you, your guilt consumes you, or you can face it head on and rise above it.
I got to tell you, and you'll know this, and we'll touch on this more on the crossover episode. But it was real strange to me watching this movie about not being able to leave the ship and then playing a game where you can't leave an area. It was like, well, there's a weird like tie in here.
It was an accidental,
And
synchronicity of ideas with that.
yeah. And then the next movie we're going to watch is going to be another location that people have a real hard time getting out of. So it's like, it's just the theme.
Looking through my notes to see what things we haven't actually covered yet.
Have we mentioned the most, I think we mentioned it earlier, the most iconic line when Kana just marked out, when Sam Neill turned to the camera and goes, "Where we're going, we don't need eyes." And Kana's like, "Yeah, he said it." I love that so much. So if I mentioned that earlier, I mention it again because it made me giggle so much.
My favorite line, Jeff mentioned it really early on, whenever they were watching that captain's log, and just Lawrence Fishburne just kind of taps the screen and stops and goes, "We're leaving."
Yeah.
Just like that.
It's like
watching all of that pan out and be like, nope. Just noping the fuck.
Nope. Yeah, one of the smartest decisions I've ever seen in a horror movie. It didn't work out for him, but that would have been the equivalent of walking into a dark house and hearing a noise and being like, and flipping all the lights on in the house. Like, not
You're
today.
out in the woods, you're wearing high heels, and you're nope. Back on the path, straight towards the street light, get in the car and nope the fuck out.
Yep. Leave the woods
And,
immediately. In fact, kick your high heels off and
it
run.
was such a starkly delivered line. I know that they meant for people to be like, to laugh at that one. Like, that is clearly a moment of subtle comedy that was intentional. Now, the next 20 minutes were filled full of unintentional comedy with the fucking sound effects and that shit.
Dude, I could not believe that, Dane, when they started that fight and he threw a punch and it hit him and it went. I was like, what?
Now, one sound effect win I do want to ask you about. Did you catch the fact that one of those doors, when it opens up, it's the same fucking sound effect they use in Doom?
No, I didn't.
When the door opens up, it's the same fucking sound. Like, if they didn't use the sound effect, they actively went out of their way to copy it.
Right. They probably took it from the game and just like pitched it slightly.
Because I heard that and like, what?
I feel like that would have been something that caught Willie's ear too. Just like, did I hear Doom?
But the only other thing that I've found in my notes that we haven't talked about yet, the soundtrack. So like the opening and closing music for this movie, after they do the studio, I think this was a Paramount thing. I think it was a Paramount opening, and they start that intro music as they're rolling the opening credits, because this is an old ass movie that back when opening credits was still, a normal thing to see. That music felt like the same music that they played at the beginning of the original Men in Black. Like, it almost sounded like the same song. That Do 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 do.
I know. Jeff made me stick around for the end. He goes, "Don't end it yet. You have to hear one of the greatest songs in cinema history." And then the little outro song kicks in, and I was like, "Oh, this has got a groove to it."
Yeah, when the ending credits started playing and whatever the fuck that was started playing, I'm like, did the dude who picked the ending credits theme bother to like know anything about this movie?
My first question when it kicked on, I said, "Is this Prodigy? Why would they put Prodigy at the end of this movie?" I don't think it was, but it sounded a hell of a lot like that. And of all the songs you could pick as a credits theme, that sounded like the intro theme to an action movie. Like that, the song that played during the credits of this movie would have fit in Mortal Kombat, and I would not have blinked twice about it.
The title of the song that they capped off this horror movie that was so extreme that they had to cut and throw away 30 minutes of footage was Funky Shit by The Prodigy.
It was Prodigy. Yes, bitch. I knew it. I'm like, this has to be Prodigy. It sounds so much like them.
What the fuck movie?
That's tremendous, dude. Yeah, Funky Shit. Like, what?
I just Googled the title of the song. I didn't know it was called Funky Shit.
And I didn't know it was
That
legitimately Prodigy. So that's
Makes it
fantastic.
so much worse.
That's like if the movie ended and all of a sudden you heard the Prodigy song, "Smack my bitch up, take my picture, smack my bitch up."
Oh, what the hell movie? Ah, come on.
Honestly, if they were going to pick a Prodigy song to end this movie with, they could have picked Firestarter, which is the one everybody knows from Wipeout. That because that song's at least got a little creepy vibe to it. Dude, that one that they played is not creepy at all. It's just groovy. It's funky. It's some funky shit.
So, I know when we announced this movie, Willie of Steam Machine fame posted somewhere in the Discord about how this was the best Doom movie.
Yeah.
And Willie, if you're listening to this, I want you to know I respectfully disagree. This movie was not the best Doom movie, even though it did have that fun little Doom sound effect. This was Hellraiser in space, done better than the actual movie that was Hellraiser in space.
See, I've never seen Hellraiser.
I've seen the first one.
When they started to show the torture scenes, that's exactly what I thought of. I was like, it wouldn't surprise me if there was a tie-in where at the end one of the Cenobites came out and like that was the antagonist all along.
Yeah, like they didn't open a gate to hell, they opened a portal to Hellraiser.
Yeah.
So the only reason that I think this movie became such a cult classic and gained such a following and is still talked about today is a combination of nostalgia from kids who were too young to be watching it, catching it on HBO because that was a really common thing when we were kids. Like I was 10 years old when this movie came out. I think Jeff was 9. And while 10-year-old me was already corrupted by the fact that my parents just let me watch whatever the fuck I wanted, and I had seen much more real horror than this, like those little flash scenes that I know left an impression on a bunch of kids that carried it forward so that they remembered this movie very scary, scarier than it actually is when they were their adults. I can see those scenes making me go, ooh, when I was 10, but the movie overall didn't do it for me as scary horror. Like for a horror themed horror genre, yeah, it definitely sells the atmosphere, but I think it's that nostalgia and that urban legend of you should, if we had only seen the things they cut out of the film.
And that can do a lot for the legend of something. Lost footage is like there's a whole section of YouTube that just covers lost media. And it's like that, that's a big intrigue for it. And I would say, I would almost consider this movie, it might have come out as a horror movie, but these days I would almost consider this a thriller with horror elements.
I do think that it crossed more into the horror genre than the thriller genre, if for no other reason than the fact that they went above and beyond to make the event horizon itself a scary place to be in. And the fact that it looks so evil and menacing intentionally within that ship was part the reason that while I was watching the movie, I questioned whether or not Sam Neill's character was evil from the get go. Like maybe he built the gravity drive with the intention of opening this portal to hell. Like maybe because his wife
Oh,
committed suicide, because there's a lot of Catholicism laced in what religious symbology is in the movie. And suicide is a mortal sin that's going to send you straight to hell under Catholic doctrine. If he knew my wife killed herself, she has to be in hell, I'm going to build this thing that will open up a gateway to hell so I can be reunited with her. Which, jumping through a lot of hoops when you can just blow your own fucking brains out, but I digress.
yeah, it was interesting because another thought that I just had while you were saying that is maybe it corrupted him when he built it. You know, when he built it and it was done and it first did its thing, that could have been the first implement of it going into his head because it seems like he was real quick to want to go find it. See, I originally thought that his wife died on the ship because that's the vibe that I had gotten. Apparently that wasn't it at all, but there's a scene early on when he's in the water. He's in the water tank. Now, this could be a dream or whatever, but he thinks about his wife and then wakes up and realizes he's in stasis after thinking he had already woken up, and there was that whole scene. So I don't know where it really begins and ends with him. It's kind of like a
I think
question.
because there's so many scenes
I'm with you.
where he's seeing shit and being visibly shaken and upset by it, I don't think, like in retrospect and looking at the movie as a whole, I think overall the movie is trying to portray that he didn't go out there with the negative intentions. I do think that Jeff's right that he kind of was corrupted by it while he was there. Uh, you talking about, maybe that influencing it, maybe he made a mistake in the design of the gravity drive because of things he was going through with his wife's suicide. Like I don't know in the timeline like
Yeah.
where he would have built it and where she would have killed herself. Like where those things would line up because there was a 7 year period between the Event Horizon's disappearance and them going back out there because it's back. And 7 years is a long time, so I don't know if within the story she was supposed to have killed herself since that happened or before that happened.
Yeah, that's never really
So I do
explained.
think it would be interesting if, the design flaw that caused it to punch through to hell instead of punching through to the nearest star like it was supposed to, if that happened because him being distraught because his wife killed herself and he accidentally designs a thing that opens up a gateway to hell or a parallel dimension that is analogous with hell. Yeah.
Yeah, it made me think of the abyss from Pathfinder because hell in Pathfinder is evil, but it's lawful evil. There are rules. Abyss is chaotic evil. Rape, murder, all of that happens in the abyss. So that's what it made me think of was like, oh, they're calling it hell because that's what we as humans know as hell, but like in Pathfinder, it really made me feel like they were going to the abyss and dealing with like, the demons and all of that stuff that are there.
And he does describe this, dimension as a dimension of pure chaos. And,
Yeah.
we talk about, sex and violence. I don't like to mix the two. Clearly, they were, which brings it back to Hellraiser, where they're definitely mixing sex with their violence.
Yeah. A lot of fetishism in that movie from what I've heard.
I know this movie was originally pitched as The Shining in space, but the end result was more Hellraiser in space. And of the movies that Paul W.S. Anderson made, like at an objective level, I do think this is probably the best made movie that he ever did. Not necessarily most entertaining, but like the most well executed, even though it's unfinished, in my opinion. Like there's clear
I can agree
gaps,
with
like
that.
just the sudden resurgence at the end of, you know, the ghost of Miller's past who's on fire, the crewmen that he left behind to die, attacking him, then morphing into Sam Neill, who now has his eyes back, cuts all over him, and he's like, the ship brought me back. That was my, like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, that was probably the most contrived moment of the entire film, was just, I'm back, bitches. The ship brought me back.
All of a sudden, Sam Neill's like, "You are on a path in the woods. I swear I've been here before."
Don't listen to that voice. But the fact that the thing haunting Miller was able to generate real fire that shot through an airlock and caused things to take damage around him, that was the moment where I was like, oh, all this shit isn't hallucinations. These are physical manifestations. So when that woman saw her kid running around, there was an actual physical something masquerading as her son. Whenever Sam Neill's character is seeing his dead wife, she is physically actually present. These things are apparently, or at least eventually, actually happening and having a physical impact on things going on in the ship, beyond just tricking someone into their death, the way it looks to begin with.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, maybe that lends more credence to the ship is alive now, and these are things that the ship is doing, or to me personally, it makes more sense that this is something malicious reaching through the portal of the drive.
Yeah, and I almost kind of like that they never gave us a definitive view of what that entity is, because it leaves it to the mind, and speculation's always going to be scarier
It's a
than
space devil.
actuality.
You got the devil, you got the super devil, this is the space devil.
It's a whole level above super.
So, do you have anything else that you want to talk about with this? Because I've kind of exhausted my notes on it.
I think we've covered pretty much everything, man. I enjoyed it.
I guess that brings us to final thoughts. So, I'll ask Past Jeff real quick. Past Jeff, hey, what were your final thoughts on Event Horizon?
This movie does take its time, and that could put some people off. But once it gets going, the movie just all of a sudden just starts becoming very entertaining, and it becomes a lot of fun. There are a few laughs, probably some unintentional laughs, but I guess that kind of gives the movie its charm. I'm going to say this is nowhere near as entertaining as Willy's Wonderland. I mean, that Willy's Wonderland is just it's a national treasure. Ironic because it's also Nicolas Cage. It is done. But now if you want this movie might be a little long, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm sure you guys will go more deep into it. Every time I watch this movie, I always have a good time. For me, the pace of it does not bother me.
Yeah, me neither.
So I know for some people they might say it's a little slow. For me, I love the pace of this movie, but everyone for the most part is doing a very good job. Sam Neill is just a treasure, just because his acting is so over the top. He's nowhere near as subtle. Do I love this movie? I really like this movie. I don't know if I love it. I mean, the scale I hear a lot is Cold Stone Creamery. Like it, love it, gotta have it. In that scale, I do love it, but I don't gotta have it. If that makes sense. It's a fun time. It's enjoyable, and it's when you're done watching to it, find a group of friends that have seen it, and discuss it with them.
Well,
because it's good fun.
I'll cut this out because I will save this for my final thoughts on it. But I do want to let you know, Jeff, I did have fun with it, and I did like the movie. And I'm glad that you.
That's good to hear.
Brought it up and made us watch it.
Well, I know everyone talks about this movie. It's And the fact that both of you had never seen it before, it's just like, this isn't as fun as Tremors. This isn't as fun as Willy's Wonderland. But this isn't Alien. But this is still a fun movie. And you need to give it a watch. The three people that have yet to watch this, you need to watch this. Stop fucking listening to us right now and watch it.
But when you come back to finish, instead of starting where you left off, go back and listen to the beginning, because we'll get an extra view/listen out of it. Yeah, right on, man. That's interesting. So, Dalton, what were your final thoughts for this?
So I went in expecting a lot more than I got, but I found the movie an entertaining ride. It isn't one that I'm going to jump on and be like, I need to watch that again, like immediately, and take it all in. But if it came on TV, or if I was at somebody's house and they were like, "You want to watch Event Horizon?" I'd be like, "Oh yeah, sure, why not? That movie's a fun time." But in the end, it was not the horror movie that I expected it to be.
I get that. I guess for me, like, I'm with you that it wasn't what I expected it to be, but I blame the internet, because every time I've seen this movie brought up, it's been hyped up as this masterpiece, super scary. Yeah. The movie does a lot of things right, and there's a lot of things about it that I appreciate. But at the end, while there's definitely a lot to keep speculating about, to keep thinking about, to keep talking about, I think the biggest problem is it is an unfinished film, because so many things had to be cut out, and there's so many clear points of we're missing setup. Actually, this wasn't in my notes. One exact, very specific, hyper-specific instance. I think the character's name was DJ, like the dude who Sam Neill attacked and then like essentially flayed, disemboweled, and hung up on meat hooks.
Yeah. The dude who was like, grabs the saw and he's like, I got him, and then turns around and there he is, and he doesn't react.
So when he rips open his shirt, I don't know if you remember this, there is a surgery scar.
Big scar.
That goes from his neck all the way down his torso. There is a confirmed story that there was set up that he had a deep-seated fear of undergoing surgery while conscious, linked to that surgical scar. So this was supposed to be him experiencing like his worst nightmare. Nothing in the film about it besides just that vestigial scar that they put on him as a makeup effect. Which when they open it, like, it's very, very forefront and in your face, like, hey, here's the thing. But there's no reason for you to be like, oh yeah, that's the thing. You're just like, okay, that's the thing, but why?
Yeah, like Sam Neill's character mentions he's claustrophobic, and then that comes back up. But that guy never once mentions a fear of surgery. So I see exactly.
It's like where the whole character's undergoing guilt through line was carried through, but kind of fumbled a little. I think that there was an original everybody's worst fears aspect that was completely lost from this movie. So I guess my final word on it is there's a lot to enjoy, and it's definitely worth watching at least once, but accept the movie for what it is instead of what the internet remembers. Because if you're going into this looking for the movie that the internet remembers, or that the internet has mythologized because of that deleted cut that's never going to see the light of day because it doesn't exist, you're going to be disappointed.
And I think a big part of the problem with that is, and I'm sure you've seen it, listeners, I'm sure you've seen them, on Facebook, there will be posts and it'll be a screenshot from a movie. And there will be a little description that really makes the movie sound interesting, but they don't tell you what the movie is or anything. And you have to go and scroll the comments and look, and finally someone will tell you what the fuck it is. I always saw one for Event Horizon, and it was a screenshot from one of those scenes where the guy's eyes are like pried open and there's blood coming out of him and stuff. And the little blurb was something along the lines of, this movie was so grotesque when it came out that audiences were in an uproar and they had to remove a bunch of shit, yada yada, and now it's that of legend, and it hypes it up. But then you watch it and you're like,
Yeah, this is the
Okay.
Kangaroo Jack of horror movies.
holy shit, yeah, there you go.
Like all the
I remember going to see that with my grandma, thinking that this was going to be about a talking kangaroo, and it happens in one scene.
that there
For
we go.
fuck's sake.
Like you gave me the epiphanation moment. I epiphanated all over the place. This movie is the Kangaroo Jack of horror of space horror. Oh, Jeff is going to hate
Tremendous.
this.
Yeah, and he'll never know unless somebody tells him because he doesn't listen back. So Kana, be sure to let Jeff know.
I'll give him a timestamp. But hey, listen to this point forward and you can find out what we said about the movie after you left. So, I mean, that's Event Horizon. Like, Hellraiser in space, Kangaroo Jack of space horror. Take that as you will, but give it a shot and judge it on its own merit instead of what you've heard on the internet. Present company excluded. So, I guess the only thing we have left is what we're doing next time. And Dalton, you've been here like what, 4 or 5 episodes in a row now? I think it's 4 in a row.
Yeah, it's been a
And
handful.
I think you've achieved official permanent guest host status at this point. So I think the only fair thing to do at this point is, you know what? You've watched the shit that me and Jeff have said to watch 4 weeks running now, or 4 episodes running now. I think you need to get a pick. So what is going to be your Spooktember,
Yes.
Spooktober spectacular?
All right, so it could have been a plethora of scary horror movies that I like. Some that there's a couple horror movies that I want to see that I don't even know if I'm going to throw at you guys because they're just super duper intense and really fucked up. Like Martyrs, for example. Like, I don't think we'll ever get there. So, but there's a movie I've been asking everybody that I know if they've seen, because let me go ahead and say, is this movie good? No. Is this movie hilarious and entertaining without absolutely meaning to be? Yes. and it's great. It is the classic. I don't remember what year it came out, but it is. We're going to be watching Cube 2, Hypercube.
Yeah, I remember you.
Now,
This was like one of the first things you pitched to me whenever me and Jeff started the podcast. Hey, if you ever take requests, I would love to show up and do Hypercube. 2003.
2003. Okay. So it's got that era of CG in it. And I don't know if it was a B movie, but I call it a B movie. It sure as hell seems like a B movie. But there's just something about it that I just love. I fully expect you and Jeff to shit all over it, and I'm okay with that. Let me just go ahead and put that out on 4th Street. I don't expect y'all to be like, man, this movie was fucking awesome. But it may come out that you guys are like, that was entertaining. That was a fun little romp. So I'm very much looking forward to it. I've got a few more loaded and ready for when I get other picks, but this is the first one that I wanted to throw out there.
So I have watched the original Cube back when it first came out in I think 2001 was when it came out.
I've seen bits of it.
I have never seen anything beyond that first one. So
Beautiful.
I'm interested to see. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I am definitely going in expecting this to be a movie that is enjoyable in spite of itself rather than because of it. Like, Event Horizon walked that line a time or two where it was almost entertaining in spite of itself, but they put enough effort and they had the cast to carry that movie on its own and they took it serious. So for some reason I'm expecting Hypercube to be in like the same category that I put 13 Ghosts. Do you remember that movie?
Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah, Tony Shalhoub.
So like that movie was one of those where like they're trying and they thought they nailed it.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some scenes where you're like, okay, that's funny. And there's going to be some scenes where you're going to be like, oh, come the fuck on. It's gonna be a good time.
So,
Especially since like the next movie I throw at you guys is probably gonna be a much more serious romp. Actually, I think we've talked about that one before too, but I won't reveal it here. But it's a much more serious movie. So like I can't come in just blazing serious saddles. I got to come in the way I know how, which is
well,
silliness.
you know what? After the things that I have inflicted on you on Steam Machine, I think that I've probably got
That's
the
fair.
better end of this deal at this point. If you don't know what we're referring to, go check out the Steam Machine podcast and look up the Duke Nukem Forever episode or the Supernova's Arc 3D episode and find out why those guys secretly hate me. In case you haven't figured it out already. I still love the fact that when Adam over at Spectre Approved, shout out, told me, hey, you get to, you're on Patreon, so you get to make a game suggestion. And I was like, okay, well, in that case, I get to suggest a game, so I'm going to say, y'all should play Ion Fury. And Willie read that and crashed the fuck out.
Yeah, Willie's like, you motherfucker, you made me play fucking Duke Nukem Forever. You give them Ion Fury? Go fuck yourself, Dane.
Well, hey, and we'll do a mild spoiler for way in the future on Spectre Approved. He asked me, Adam asked me, I guess about a week ago, what do you want to make for your next game pick? I'm like, I get another one? He's like, yeah.
Yeah, when he told me I get 2, I was like, really? All right, cool.
So I've laid the groundwork, and where I was openly hostile with Steam Machine because we went from Metal Gear Revengeance to Duke Nukem. For him, it's a more subtle thing. So I'm hitting Spectre Approved with psychological warfare because the game that I suggested next for them, if it affects them at all, even remotely how it affected me, I have ruined probably a good 60 hours of his and Fenn's lives. I hit him with Void Stranger.
As soon as you said 60 hours, I was like, oh, that motherfucker really, he went there.
Because I can tell Jeff is not at all interested. Okay. So, and like, I'm even going so far. I've offered I'll gift them copies of it when they're ready to start playing.
That's gonna be tremendous.
They're either going like just what I know of the two of them. I kind of expect Finn to bounce off of it really hard, but I think Adam's going to click with it just enough that he gets sucked in. That's my prediction.
We're gonna see a message in Discord months from now. It just tags you. God damn it!
I'll live for that. I'll live for that. It's better than sex. Oh, but I think that's all that we have for tonight. So, dear listener, if you have made it this far, wow, you're a fucking champion. I can't believe it. I'm so proud of you. I don't get it, but you know what? I'm not going to argue with it. So if you made it this far,
we appreciate
thank you so much. I've been Mr. Puzzles. He's been Steam Machine Dalton. He was here earlier, but he had to leave because he needs sleep. That was Grumpy Jeff. You've been the audience. Thank you so much for sticking with us this long. And since Jeff had to take off, Dalton, I'll ask you, do you have any parting words for these lovely, lovely people who have made it this far into our nonsense?
Yes, I do. For you all out there who are doing your jobs and living your lives, good night and good luck.
Our theme song is Moonpath by Nile The Nightmare. You can find a link to that track as well as his full discography in the show notes or by visiting nilethenightmare.bandcamp.com. Want to hang out with us and a bunch of other entertaining degenerates?
Join us on Discord at bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all caps. Enjoy the show, rate us where you're at, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one.
You want something hot and black inside you? All right, how about a cup of coffee?
Perfect.
Oh,
Fucking
and
perfect.
scene.